I am a certified school psychologist.
Hi, Dr. Umar. I'm so happy that you're my principal. I love FDMG. Can you tell me about the school?
We are going to make history. We are going to shock the world. We are going to transform the entire community, one black boy at a time. In this school, you don't have to worry about special education. In this school, you don't have to worry about ADHD diagnoses. In this school, you will never get a phone call from a teacher or an administrator telling you that your child needs dangerous psychiatric medication in order to get an education.
FDMG is coming, FDMG is coming, FDMG is coming, it's coming. FDMG is coming, FDMG is coming, FDMG is coming, it's coming, it's coming. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming, FDMG is coming, thought his personality be twerking, it's twerking.
Get into, so I don't want to waste too much time running my mouth during this live stream. I do plan on live streaming tomorrow, and if possible Wednesday. We'll see how it goes, but for sure tomorrow. Umar's been hiding. He's been hiding. He has not, the video that we're going to watch today, it's actually from the 30th of last month, I believe. But the actual interview itself occurred before the alleged Umar Johnson fainting spell. He hasn't gone live. He hasn't shown his face or anything like that. So it's a very interesting time. On top of that, of course, we're getting close to the end of the year. Winter is coming. The school is supposed to open February of this year. It was supposed to open January of this year, 2025. And then it was supposed to open September of 2025. It was also supposed to open August of 2025. What's fascinating is that whenever these dates pass, because Umar, he's given over, at this point, it's over 30 date changes since 2010. He's given over 30 different date changes. What's fascinating is that whenever these dates pass that he promised that the school was going to open, FDMG, he doesn't mention those dates anymore. He doesn't give any real excuse. What he does, he just makes up another date, or he'll say stuff like, I'm not going to give a date anymore, but then he does it, and inevitably he does it again. It's a pattern with Umar. The fact that he has over 30 different date changes goes to show you that this is nothing more than a long con. He's a con man. He's a scammer. There's no reason why he should not, in 2025, have something up and running. Back in 2010, he said the school was going to open September 11, 2013. There's no excuse for that. But what Umar does consistently is he blames everybody else. Now, listen, we've all have failed in life. We've all made mistakes. The idea is, do we learn the lessons and do better? And then also, do we hold ourselves accountable and own it? Just own it. But Umar's unwilling to do that. He has to blame someone else. Now, the interview that we're going to be watching today, I haven't watched it, but I would not be surprised if Umar blames someone else as to why these trap bandos haven't opened this year. Like he said, there is a poll question too, by the way. Make sure you get your vote in during this live stream. The poll question is FDMG coming in 2025? Quick question, basic question. Again, Umar said the grand opening was September 11, 2013. He said 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Here we are in 2025. He said we're going to open 2025. Okay. We have, so far we have 507 votes. 8% said yes. I don't know who these people are. 92% said no. So make sure you get your vote in during this live stream. And if at any point during this live stream you're enjoying the show, go on and hit that like button. It helps to get these videos out to the algorithm. It has helped tremendously. I've been looking at the numbers, and whenever you guys, hit that like button, the numbers, they go up. So thank you guys so much. Hope everyone's doing all right inside the Cookie Crush chat. Undefeated. I appreciate y'all. Before we get to the video, let me do some of these super chats so that I can stay on top of those. But let me check something else too. I want to, before we even get into that, I want to check Umar's Instagram page, just so that we're clear on timeline. I'm gonna look for when he initially posted that he was going to be appearing in this interview, and let me see if it comes up here. No, it's not coming up. Okay, I'll take a look at it a little bit later on during the show. Probably once we get into the video, I'll take a look. Before I do that though, let me go ahead and get to some of these super chats. How's it going? Nimi says, I watched the Tariq Nasheed Woke Walrus Tunde, the Dashiki sniffs and all. Damn, yeah. Umar kept taking shots at Tariq Nasheed. He had been for many, many years. Tariq Nasheed never really addressed it for years, and part of it because it wouldn't have been good business. Umar was in the first Hidden Colors, second Hidden Colors. I think he was in the third. I could be wrong with that, but for sure, the first and second one, Umar got jealous. He started taking shots at Tariq. Umar wanted more money. He also wanted access to Tariq's intellectual property, which was Hidden Colors. Tariq wasn't having that because that was his intellectual property. Basically, Umar was trying to steal that and then go over it. He had scheduled an event over in the UK where he was going to be presenting Hidden Colors as if it was his own intellectual property. No, that's Tariq's intellectual property. So Tariq wasn't having that. Umar wanted him to allow him to do that. He wouldn't. Umar also wanted Tariq to give him free copies of the DVDs to go take over there and sell, and Umar keeps the money. Tariq said no, he'd give him a reduced price. Umar got upset about that. It's just business. Umar's not a businessman. He doesn't have any business acumen whatsoever. And so he started taking shots at Tariq Nasheed. And this went on for years. And then finally Tariq went back at him, and it was a mess. Okay, he destroyed Umar. And part of what he did was he came up with the Woke Warriors. I remember that. Okay. Thank you, Nimi, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Nimi also says the Woke Warriors even gave a tour of his school. Yeah, I remember that. Had me in stitches, screaming the cookies. Yeah. And as fascinating, I don't remember how long ago that was. That was quite a few years ago. But here we are all these years later, and there's still no school. See, Umar, he keeps saying stuff like, and his followers, they'll say things like he has a school. No, there is no school. A school is a place of learning. There's no children enrolled. There's no teaching taking place. No one's learning anything over the last 6.5. It's getting close to 7 years now. That's crazy. So it's fascinating because there's people who've talked about these abandoned buildings for years. It was in the Woke Walrus cartoon back in the day. And here we are. Ain't nothing changed. The buildings still look like trash. In fact, I have, we're trying to work it out now. I have someone who's in the Cookie Crush chat who actually got some video footage of these abandoned buildings a couple of days ago. And we were going to try to get to it today, but we're not going to have time. I'm trying to get something going for tomorrow, and we'll get into that video. Just look forward to that. The truth is, and I watched at least a part of it. No, actually, I know I watched the whole thing, and it looks bad up there. So nothing's changed. Okay. Thank you, Nimi, for the super chat. Kale sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much, Kales. I appreciate it. Nimi also says, transforming from a Tunde walrus to a Shango werewolf. I didn't know that was possible. Who knew? Yeah, people have been calling Umar the werewolf of Wilmington, which is apropos in my opinion, because he be up there late at night. He ain't been up there in a while. But he used to be up there a lot late at night, howling at the moon. Talk about he getting work done. It's only him up there. Man, I got to go check this real quick. Hold on, everybody. Let me go over here to Umar's Instagram, because I just my mind, the way my mind works is timeline is huge, and I want to make sure I have the timeline for when Umar actually did this interview, because it was before the alleged fainting spell. Umar's alleged fainting spell. Umar hasn't been on line since that alleged event took place. So it looks like what it says here. This was from October 25th. Nope, that's not right. Hold on one second. When Umar posted it, because it probably was actually before. They actually probably did the interview before this, I would think. Let's see. What does this say? Yeah, so this would have been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Around the 27th, let's just say October 27th. It may have been, they may have recorded before that though. I'm gonna do a little bit. I should have researched it beforehand, but that's when Umar initially posted. It didn't come out until a couple of days ago. And let me just scroll down here real quick and see if it actually appears that Umar promoted prior to that. No, it doesn't look like he promoted it prior to that date. Okay, so I just want to be clear on the timeline. I'll come back to this a little bit later on. Okay, thanks, Nimi, for the super chat. The werewolf in Wilmington. All right, Uncle Joe became a member. Thank you so much. I have hundreds of Umar Johnson, archived Umar Johnson live streams for members and other content too. So thanks everyone who's been a member. I appreciate it. Iceman Vamp says, Lenon is late so much we think 5 minutes late is early. Now, I actually started about maybe 10 seconds before I was supposed to start. So y'all give me a little credit. I'm trying. I try my best. You guys know how I am. But I was at least a couple of seconds early. I can say that today. All right. All right. Thanks, Iceman Vote. Iceman Vote. Hope you're doing all right. I'm looking again. One more time. Let me look at this. Yeah. Okay. And then User 225 says Umar Johnson should be a jazz singer because he loves scatting. All right. All right. Enterprise, what's up, man? Says I'm in here, Leonor. Hashtag pants on the ground. Check my vid. Yeah. Hashtag. Yeah. I emailed you a little while ago. Make sure when you get a chance, if you get in your email me back. Okay, shout out to Enterprise. Appreciate you, bro. Nimi also says I didn't know how Tariq Nasheed went in on it. No, he did. He did at least 2 videos where he specifically addressed Umar, and then he did a series of like puppets. I think he did some cartoons too. I don't know if he did cartoons, but he did puppets, and it got really bad. It really, and I say that it got bad for Umar because he had been taking shots at Tariq Nasheed for a very long time, and then Tariq he unloaded on him. Well, I tell you, it was something else. Thanks, Nimi. And then User 225 also says they call him 007. 0 schools open, 0 boys saved, 700 secret snow bunny baby mamas. All right. Okay. There are no schools. People say that they use the terminology, and it's in fact, I think it's quite reckless because it gives the illusion that Umar has done what he said that he was going to do. Umar, what he said he was going to do back in 2010 was that he was going to open up a school for Black boys, and it was going to be a boarding school. An independent boarding school for boys and girls. That's what he promised. Here we are 15 years later, and there's just some abandoned buildings up there. That's all. They're still on the vacant property list. They're abandoned buildings, nothing more. And nothing's changed either. Nothing's changed. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm always fair. He has done some renovation work. In fact, recently he posted up there that he has some doors installed. Anyone see that hit the one? Matter of fact, I forgot all about that. I'll pull this up. I know why he did that because we were clowning him about them doors because one of them doors looked like a werewolf was gnawing on it. You guys remember he did the bathroom videos and we were clowning him? So that's why he did that. He went up there and he finally got some doors put on, act like it's a big deal after 6.5, almost 7 years. Ridiculous. I told him to get the doors fixed back in 2019, Umar. Let me see here. Yeah, here it is right here. I'm going to bring this up later, though. I forgot about it, but I'll pull this back up a little bit later on. I think she's a 2-5. Yeah, there are no schools. Okay, people say that, yeah, he has schools. No, and he's building. He's not building anything. What Umar has been doing is slowly renovating. And he said renovations were done in 2023, and he's still renovating until 2025. He lies all the time. He's a pathological liar. And then even to say that it's a school, that's a lie. Go look up the definition of a school. It's a place of learning. And in this case, it should be for children. Where are there children up there learning? No, them children up there don't even know who Umar is. And those bandos, no one should be in there in the first place, let alone children. There were children up in there playing inside these abandoned buildings, no electricity on, trash and filth all over the place because they're abandoned buildings. Is that school? No. All right, anyway, thanks, User 225. I'm going off. I told myself, just stick to the video today. User 225 says, peace and Pan Africanism. Where my Transformer queens at? My Autobot Decepticon queens, Fudge Shango, Butter Pecan Shango, Laser Hair Removal. Laser Hair, what are you talking about? Thanks, User 225. That was a Umar, and I'm going to assume that it's a Umar Johnson follow because they be trying to get slick with me. I ignore them. But they said something like, well, isn't it amazing that you're trying to sound smart when you're talking about agave, but agave is brown and you don't even know that. And I said to myself, what are you talking about? My wife, that's her thing is agave. I know what agave is. The real issue is how Umar reduces Black women in their private parts down to treats and flavors and colors, including agave. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see. I know it ain't in the fridge because we don't put the agave in the refrigerator because you don't have to. Well, she cleaned this out today. So I don't even think, maybe it is in the fridge. Yeah, I don't see it in here. Yeah, if my wife, and I could find it, but I don't like finding stuff like that. I don't like finding food and stuff. If my wife, because she's sleeping right now, if she wakes up, I'll ask her. She'll know exactly where it's at. Yeah, she cleaned out this pantry too. It looks nice in here. Yeah, I'm tripping. Hold on, I'll be right back. I know it's in here. Anyway, yeah, when she gets up, I'll ask her and she'll bring it to me. Anyway, the point is that it's not about agave per se. It's about how Umar, because it shows his disrespect of Black women and the objectification of Black women, that he reduces Black women to like treats and their private parts to treats. That's why he's always talking about cookies. You know, it's fascinating because there was a video that Umar posted. I don't know when that interview took place, but it's on his Instagram page. And right before the live stream, I played it. And Umar, he talks about how, you know, he doesn't want to deal with white women and he's never going to deal with snow bunnies, but there was a snow bunny in college that wanted to get with him. So, well, whatever, Umar, don't nobody care about all that. But then he says something like, you know, it wouldn't be right for me to be, quote unquote, dating outside of my race, including every other Black man. You should do that when we have all these women who have children and they're single mothers. Well, Umar's made at least 3 single mothers, 3 baby mamas, hasn't married not one. He's saying, you know, and we need to marry these Black women. Well, he's never been married. He's such a hypocrite. He's a baby mama creator. He don't take care of his kids. He ain't married not one of you Black women, but he'll talk that talk to run game on y'all and y'all fall for it. Now that's ridiculous too, but that's on y'all. Anyway, thanks you to 225. I appreciate it. We already got about 1,200 people in the building. Again, if at any point you like this show or enjoy the show, make sure you hit that like button. Okay, I'd appreciate it. All right, and then the technical brute says Dr. Umar play with the process. All right, here we go. Lene, my goodness. Is Lene here today? And don't get you the 225 going on that one, okay? But we're going to leave it right there, the technical brute. Thank you for the super chat. Y'all need to leave Umar alone, poor guy. Says, Nimi says, I wonder if Umar's mother is being affected by the shutdown. I thought about that the other day. I'm not quite sure. That's a big topic right now. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's impacting people all around the world. Excuse me, all around the United States of America. And I hope not. You know, I hope not. You know, it's fascinating because I heard Umar. I have Umar on several videos where he's telling people that if they want to buy his book or whatever, that they could that he'll accept food stamps. And then the other day he posted, I wanted to get to that too, but we'll have to, because we got to get to this. I want to get to this whole video because I don't want to do 2 shows on this video. It's going to be too much. But he had posted recently about how we need to help these single Black mothers because of the food stamp situation and the SNAP and all this stuff. I'm saying to myself, what are you talking about? You live off of your mama. That's government assistance. What you talking about? And then he's telling all these Black organizations what they should be doing to help mitigate this issue. But Umar, what are you doing to help mitigate that issue? Except taking more money out of Black people's pocket. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it right there. I actually thought about that, and hopefully she's not being affected. Okay, hopefully not. Thank you, Nimi. And then user 225 says if Umar Johnson worked in tech, he would be a a back end engineer. Okay, all right. That's enough. Yeah, brute force back. Let me stop. The brute force attack. Let me stop. Okay, let's get into the video, y'all. Thanks for all the super chats. I appreciate it. All right, here we go. So this video is, let me do one other thing, because again, I'm big on timeline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to what was this? This was on, hold on one second. This interview was on Inside the Vault, is what it's called. I haven't heard of it before. And looks like the video, it's gotten 74,000 views. Again, with Umar, that's one thing I've noticed too, is he doesn't get the type of views that he used to. So this was posted 4 days ago, but they also posted another shorter clip, I believe that was 6 days ago. I just want to see if they actually have the date when the interview actually took place. Yeah, it says it premiered. They posted it on the 30th, but Umar promoted it on the 27th because it was already done there. But it doesn't show. So we're gonna have to say that it was before the 27th. We'll say that, okay, just to be clear on the timeline. All right. So let's. No. Umar Johnson work in cybersecurity. He knows about backdoors. Oh, no. All right, that's fine. Okay, let's get to the. Thank you for switching though. Let's get to the video. Here we go. Here it is right here.
Ultimate anti-black segregationists are in America? Black people!
Okay, I'm gonna say something right now. I guarantee you, Umar is going to be disparaging black people throughout this interview, which is one of the things that he does. If it was I know Cook Quartet's undefeated, absolutely undefeated. If there was a white guy who talks about black people like Umar talks about black people, people would call that white person a white supremacist. But somehow Umar gets passed. So I can already tell because I can tell what type of mode Umar's in. He tends to go on these podcasts, and if he's in that mode, he'll disparage black people over and over and over again. Says very little about white people who, allegedly he's fighting against for some reason. All right, so let's kind of keep track of and keep count of Umar disparaging black people throughout this interview, so-called interview. Here we go.
Nobody wants to get away from black people more.
He always screaming. Let me skip through to the actual thing. All right, here we go.
From mental liberation to financial elevation, Dr. Umar.
Yeah, this audio is horrible. Not to be like that, but that's the main thing. More important than video quality is audio quality. You can get away with bad video quality and good audio quality, but you can't get away with good video quality and bad audio quality. Again, this is from Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. I believe that's this gentleman's name. All right, here we go.
Especially our children from the system that miseducates planet. I'm excited about today's
Man, he yelling too.
guest. We are sitting down with one of the most unapologetic black voices of our time, Dr. Umar Johnson, a doctor of clinical.
Someone said, someone had made a comment about Umar's statement because he says it unapologetically African as if he coined that. But someone said that John Henry Clark coined that, and they gave reference to particular videos on YouTube. I just didn't have time to go through those videos. I would not be surprised at all. Okay, some of you guys maybe, John Henry Clark. I would not be surprised if Umar didn't get that from him because Umar's a plagiarist. A lot of what he talks about is plagiarized from other people's work. Here we go.
Psychology and certified psychologist.
Okay, listen, he's not a certified psychologist. Okay, I know you're trying to be like, and I'm not here to demean you, brother, but I know you're trying to be like Shay, where he gives the accolades and all that, but know your facts. Umar is not certified in anything. He holds no certifications. He's never held any licenses. He's not even practicing as a psychologist and hasn't for over a decade. Actually, it's closer to 15 years. So know your facts. See, that's the thing. People, you don't do the research. You don't do the research. You're trying to get it because you want views. I get it. But at the very least, have some integrity and do the research. If you're going to say that Umar has a certification, then you need to go research to see where inside of a database it says for certification for psychology, where Umar is listed. You're not going to find it. Umar's still telling people he's a school psychologist. Where? You're not going to find it because he's not. He says he's a therapist. Where? Have y'all ever seen Umar inside of an office? When's the last time y'all saw Umar live streaming out of an office? I'll wait. So do your research in the first place. I know you want to glaze him up and I get it. I get it. He do this. He does. I get it. You know, he won the Super Bowl in 2025. Okay, I get it. But have your facts in order. Anyway.
Dr. Umar has dedicated his life to freeing the minds of African people, especially our children, from the.
Umar's not working with children. He's not working with children. What are you talking about? He worked with the children's mamas. Baby, do you know where the agave is? Yeah, because we don't put it in the fridge, right? Oh, I didn't even look in there. You should go lay back down, baby. I didn't see it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, so here's the agave right here. See, I know what agave is because that's my wife's sister's favorite thing to sweeten stuff up, right? Besides her kisses. Anyway, and yeah, I know what color it is, but and they got different colored ones too. Colored ones. They have different types and it's different range of different colors. But the idea is that when Umar calls black women's private parts agave, or even their skin color agave, that's a problem. That's colorism. See, if a white man was up there talking like that, that would be color. That would be racist in essence. Right? Anyway, what was I saying? Umar don't work with no kids. See, this guy's getting up there, sound like Daffy Duck. I don't mean, you don't even know what you're talking about, homeboy. But he's trying to be like Shannon Sharp. You know how he has people on and he just glaze and just be giving them all these accolades. That's what he's trying to do right here.
System that miseducates and misdiagnose us. He's the founder of the Frederick Douglass.
Why are you yelling? Anyway.
And Marcus Garvey, RBG International Leadership Academy for Boys.
Okay, listen, there is no academy for boys or girls or for dogs or cats or chitlins. You might as well say it's academy for chitlins because it doesn't exist. Turn this light down a little bit. You better calm me down a little bit. Tell myself, just play the video a little tonight. When you start the show, get right on, get to the super chats and stay on top of them. But then start the show and just go. Anyway, this guy, here we go.
The first school in America built.
Okay, listen, there is no school. The first school in America. Well, some of these people be tripping, boy. I shouldn't be like this. Enterprise, I'm going to pull that video up, but I'm going to wait. I should pull that video up right now, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to be gracious, but not content. There is no school. Okay, anyway. Where is this at anyway? Hold on one second. We'll get to the video tomorrow. Okay. I just checked my email, Enterprise. But let me anyway, let me, yeah, I know. He said the first school. Cut it out. There is no school. Exactly. This guy, he just glazing.
Psychologist, Dr.
He's like, yeah, I'm all these things. Just like, no, you're not.
Umar has dedicated his life to freeing the minds of African people, especially our children, from the system that miseducates and misdiagnose us. He's the founder of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy for Boys, the first school in America built on the principles of revolutionary Pan Africanism and economic independence from mental.
There is no school. Economic independence. What you talking about? This guy, he don't even have a job. He hasn't worked since 2011. He's been living off black people since. Collected millions of dollars, 2.6, 2.7, my best estimate, from 2019 to 2024, just based on his IRS filings alone and the purchase price of these trap bundles in 2019. Umar has raised $1.67 million. That's other people's money. He has no skin in the game. How much money has Umar donated? What you talking about? Glazing?
Liberation to financial elevation, Dr. Umar has spent decades preaching one truth: a people can't.
Financial liberation is not get on your Cash App, homeboy. It's not get on your PayPal all the time and begging and shit. That's not. Anyway, let me stop.
Be free if they don't control their mind, their education, and their money. Today, we're going deep from black.
Well, then Umar, he's not free then. because he ain't controlling none of that. Anyway.
Economics, wealth psychology, Trump's America, ICE raids, NBA scandals, special ed, ADHD, the future of liberation in a system built on capitalism. Ladies.
Okay, let me just to be clear, what they should have done with this audio is increase the gain and then told these two speakers, the host and Umar, not to yell. It's not necessary. So it's just anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my brother, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Glad to be with you, black man.
Man, so it's
okay, but you got on Nikes though, look like them Jordans from back in the day. But Umar said we shouldn't be wearing Nikes, right? Umar says we shouldn't be wearing Nikes because that's the white man, blah blah blah. They're hypocrites. They're just hypocritical. Anyway,
it's such a pleasure because to see you for all these years, really like fighting for our people and seeing where we need help and how we could unify and get to the next level as African people. For those who don't know, they should know you, but in your words, who's Dr. Umar Johnson?
Sure, Dr. Umar Ifatunde.
Yeah, this audio quality is deplorable.
Tunde.
And you already mentioned the credentials, outside of being a psychologist. I'm a Pan Africanist to the core.
Okay, Umar's not a psychologist. He's such a liar. He has no office. He has no clientele. He's not certified as a psychologist. He doesn't have a license as a psychologist. I already said that. He doesn't have an office. No, he doesn't have a license. He's not a psychologist. He doesn't work in the school system. He doesn't work in the charter school system. He doesn't work independently. He can't work independently. He's never had a license as a psychologist. So, I mean, Umar, I could just over and over again, I can just give you examples of lies over and over again. And when I say that Umar is lying, he's lying. I'm not making it up. There's no reason to do that. See, but people don't do the research, and the host hasn't done his research. Let's go.
Obviously, I'm an advocate for parents, being a school psychologist, author. My job basically is to pick up where the ancestors left off. I judge myself by this.
Okay, real quick. You see how Umar says as a school psychologist, as if in the present he's a school psychologist? No, he hasn't worked as a school psychologist since 2010, 2011. But he's still telling the people in 2025 that he's a school psychologist. If he's a school psychologist, he has to be working at a school, right? Where's the school at? He has to have an office someplace. Where's his office at? It doesn't exist. So as an example, if you're gonna have Umar on and he says I'm a school psychologist, what's the legitimate question you should ask as a host? Well, where are you a school psychologist at? And then he would give you the school. The point though is if further still, I should say that if he was a school psychologist, you'd be able to type his name in, Umar Johnson, or they wouldn't even use Ifatunde because that's not his legal name. Okay, initially his legal name is his given name as a child, as a baby was Jermaine Shoemake. Okay, but then his daddy changed his name once they moved down to where his daddy was at. I can give you the whole timeline on all this. We've talked about it many times. And his daddy renamed him Umar Rashad ibn Abdullah Johnson, or Umar Rashad ibn Abdullah Johnson. So if Umar worked anywhere in the school system, in Philadelphia or otherwise, you would only have to put his name in and then type in school psychologist, and a picture would come up of where he worked at and at what school and so forth and so on. But you don't see that. It doesn't exist. It's never existed. I've looked, trust me, I've done the research. If anyone could, I'll give anyone $100 if you can provide me with a receipt online that shows Umar as a school psychologist with the name of the school, his credentials listed there, so forth and so on. He's not even licensed to be a psychologist. But you see what Umar does? He's lying. He's saying as a school psychologist. He's not a school psychologist.
Outside of being a psychologist, I'm a Pan Africanist to the core. Obviously, I'm an advocate for parents, being a school psychologist, author,
He lies so much. Yeah, he has written books that they're not peer reviewed and there's no source material.
My job basically is to pick up where the ancestors left off. I judge myself by them because I really don't see a lot of elders, unfortunately, not that.
See, he's already talking. Here we go. Hit the one. I can already tell that this was going to be an interview about Umar bashing black people. Now he's going to bash the elders. I have videos where one of the elders, he's not around as much or as active as he used to be, but in the Black conscious community, he was associated with Sonnetter too for a while. Dr. Valentine, I can pull that up and show you guys. They were chastising Umar because of his behavior, particularly with the SETI rant. I also have the video of Dr. Smalls, who's still associated with, and shout out to Sonnetter, who's still associated with the House of Consciousness, and he chastised Umar too. I have that video, I can pull it up too. But you see, Umar takes shots at people all the time, just like Mini earlier was talking about Tariq Nasheed. But Umar has a history of this type of behavior. He'll talk so poorly about Black people. He takes shots at Black leaders over and over again. Black elders over and over and over again. And for whatever reason, people accept that. But see, if anyone criticizes Umar, his followers, they get all up in their feelings and stuff. But the point is that most of what Umar says about Black people is negative, including so-called elders in the Black conscious community.
We don't have great ones, but I don't see a lot of them kind of picking up that torch that the ancestors had. So for me, I want to pick up that torch of Garvey, that torch of King, of Malcolm, of my cousin, the Honorable Frederick Douglass.
Okay, there's another lie right there. This guy lies so much. He's not related to Frederick Douglass. His daddy took a DNA test and it came back that they have no relationship, blood relationship or genetic relationship to Frederick Douglass. I can pull that receipt up too and show it to you guys.
Of Lumumba, Nkrumah, Sobukwe. You know, there needs to be a continuation of struggle. And one of our weaknesses as African people is we don't have a continuity of struggle, whether that's in the States, whether that's on the continent, the Caribbean, wherever you go, there's no continuity. So when a great leader falls, we often wait and pray for another to fall from heaven, as opposed to training the children who are going to replace those greats when they join the ancestors.
Okay, now listen, what children are Umar training for anything? Let me play this video from March 16th of 2017.
More. United, a research and development team geared to helping indigenous Americans, so-called Native Americans, with asset protection via UCC and indigenous status. Contact Judge Hache at 310-407-9272 or Sister Basia Elbey at 562-391-753.
Yeah, I'm sorry, here we go.
To separate, we're here to help bring things together. The Prince has financed the U.S. government in the amount of over 1,200 later or after us at the conscious community, grandmothers and great-grandmothers. They are the ones that brought nothing but shame and disappointment to their legacies. People looking division versus collectivism, the ridiculous downright.
Okay, here it is right here. This is his response to the SETI rant, right, that Umar participated in.
Blasphemous behavior I've been seeing exhibited by those who claim to be forwarding their great works, those entrusted with their legacy, the utter disrespect to the memory of those who brought value and substance to the lives of thousands by sacrificing their own. I've seen these few take this platform to spit vitriol instead of virtue, curses instead of cures, hate instead of healing, division versus collectivism. And I won't be naming names here. That's not necessary, for by their actions will they be known. And brought nothing but shame and disappointment to their legacies. People looking at the kind of circus-like atmosphere that was being enacted upon and prosecuted. It hurt my heart, and well, let me go forward. Our so-called conscious community was stricken by an infection, one that crippled logic, discernment, and reason, destroying our empathy for one another. For example, let me be clear. Having sat with true warriors in the fight to bring us closer to the African continent, I have never once heard my brother, for instance, Kwame Ture, who I sat in audience right before he made his transition, ever call himself a prince of Pan Africanism. Because the true warriors never held a coronation to adorn themselves with self-proclaimed royalty. I've never heard a founding father of that became, or what became known as the conscious community, refer to themselves as a Hollywood ape that hung from the Empire State Building when referring to their contributions and participation in the conscious community. I've never seen my elders yell, cuss, scream, and hurl invectives at one another and call that debating. If there was a debate, it was with the recognized enemy, not your family. And worse yet, I've never ever heard any of my contemporaries in the conscious community fix their faces to say, fuck the elders. And through all this madness, this ego-driven chaos, I kept hearing, where are the elders? Why are they not stepping up to say something about this desecration of the platform and principle? We warned on camera. I'm to tell you, we warned on camera to tell you that we already warned those who participated in this tragic fiasco of the consequences that would be incurred if they continued their course of action. We warned on camera that they would spread the psycho-spiritual disease to our community. They'd spread the contagion of contention, the contagion of separation, the contagion of divisiveness, and the contagion of divisiveness. But the public never got to see that tape, that DVD. The warning never went public, so you really didn't know that the elders were already there. How many of you all were at the National Black Theater at the time when I warned? And I think I was speaking for all the elders as well. We didn't need to be arguing with one another to make a point. And finally, when you fix your face to say F the elders, such words reverberate backwards and forwards through time and space, through the akasha, through the nu, through the etherium, and will be heard by Natir Ma'at, who will cause those who think and speak such filth to be revisited by the demonic spirit they invoked by even speaking those words. The following names belong to those I both have met personally or have read about their legacies, to whom I have studied with a passion that sustains my ethics and unyielding resolve. Were they perfect? No. Am I perfect? Hell no. I never claimed to be. See, when you say F the elders, here are a very brief idea of the men and women who are the elders you just spit upon. First, here are the elders who emancipated us from the chains of our left brain.
All right, and then let me play one more. This other one is from Zion Lex and with Professor Smalls. Okay, give me 1 second. I don't have the date though. I'll find the date.
Decision you make to do after the critique is given, at least give us the desire to the mental system, which was even more harsh than the court system. His father had been assassinated by the Klan. He was taken into appropriate because you're trying to respond based on arrogance or ego or defensive. God having a human experience. You know, New York out of heaven. Because South Carolina, in that woods, in that wooden building where I lived with those old people, that was heaven. Okay.
All right, here we go.
And give us the opportunity to see, and then hatred that led to the violence. Hatred that resulted in violence. Envy, jealousy, and hatred derives from ignorance. If the knowledge, if the appropriate knowledge, people got knowledge, if the appropriate knowledge was there, then people would have moved towards, as it says in Proverbs, from knowledge to understanding, from understanding to wisdom, from wisdom to enlightenment, and this would have never happened. But it tells us that the appropriate knowledge wasn't in place. They had knowledge, but it wasn't the appropriate knowledge. Because you know, wisdom is the application of appropriate knowledge. And so, in this case, we saw desire to usurp the position that Malcolm had created for himself. Envy of the fact that he is in this exalted position. Jealousy of the fact that I can't be in that exalted position because I'm not willing to sacrifice what he sacrificed. And then hatred that led to the violence that led to his death. And when we come back to Brother Umar, I love Brother Umar. He's made some mistakes, but I've seen him correct many of those mistakes.
Yes.
He says he now has a facility, but we know to open a school from scratch requires millions of dollars.
That's right.
Just to set up your facility. You know, we own a business in Africa, and I've been struggling with that business for years, so I know what it takes to run an institution, you know. And so we need to reach out to Omar, but Omar needs to reach back.
That's
One
right.
of his weaknesses
That's important.
When people reach out to him, he don't reach back.
Wow, you see this? And I didn't have this in the first documentary, but this is from 2020. March 6th of 2020. But I talked about how in the documentary, I talked about how there were professionals, black professionals, who reached out to Umar to help him with this school project, even before he acquired the abandoned buildings in 2019. But Umar has a habit of dismissing people unless you give him money. If you give him money, then he's cool.
And he needs to reach back if he wants the support from the brothers and sisters. And then he needs to be transparent so we know what we're supporting.
That's right.
Okay?
Yep.
And give us the opportunity to see, to advise you and whether this is probable or possible. Take the critique. Whatever decision you make to do after the critique is given, at least give us the opportunity to give you that critique. And then we can move forward as family. Right. But this situation we're in, where everybody's throwing darts at everybody, that's not the kind of life I came out of with my mother and my father, my grandparents and my great-parents, who all lived in the house that I grew up in, with some aunties and great-aunts and all the mothers in that house. I came into this world out of heaven. I came into New York out of heaven. Because South Carolina, in that wood.
This is Professor James Smalls, too. Thanks for saying that. What's up, Erica?
It's in that wooden building where I lived with those old people. That was heaven. And they sent me forth into this world. I'm them going forth into the world. My children and me going forth into the world. And at the same time, they're also them. I am my ancestor. I'm the sum total of every ancestor. And so are you that have ever lived. And the first ancestor is God itself. So what are we then? God having a human experience. You know?
That's right. I guess what I'm hinting at ultimately, Professor Smalls, and I'm using our good brother Umar Johnson as a template and as an example. How powerful are the speakers of tomorrow when they are backed by a council of elders? Because this is essentially what the brother needs. Very powerful,
because the elders represent a...
All right, I'll leave right here. But Umar still doesn't have a board of directors or a council of elders. He did say that he was going to have a council of elders in February of 2019 in the school school announcement video, but that never materialized. And to this day, there's no accountability. There's no transparency. All right, so I just wanted to bring that up because Umar in this interview is talking about the elders. These are two elders from the Black conscious space. Professor Smalls is still quite active. I don't think Dr. Valentine is as active, but they did critique Umar, and it was legitimate criticism. Legitimate criticism. Okay, let's go.
Our lack of a continuity of struggle is a big issue for us, and that is the area or the sector that I'm trying to plug in with my work.
Why do you think that, right? Like I look at, you know, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, the, you know, Martin Luther Kings. I kind of feel like it's, you know, they've been taking, they take them out in a way that make people fearful to like step up.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why they constantly broadcast the execution or at least the death. Yeah. If you notice, Abraham Lincoln is one of the most famous presidents in American history. A racist, but one of the most famous presidents in American history. You can hardly find a death photo of him. John F. Kennedy, very famous also. You can find death photos of Kennedy, but not as often as you will find death photos of King and Malcolm. Wow. In other words, when they assassinate...
I just have to say, so he said, he said the death photo of, who did he say? Abraham Lincoln. There's a whole bunch of them that pops up. Umar, what are you talking about? And I've never looked, but I'm looking at it right now. Well, Umar, you a trip. Let me see something though. So the 1865 was Abraham Lincoln. A lot of this though, Umar, has to do with just a technology and where technology is at and was at back then, Umar, just so that you know, okay? Let me go see that photo of, what did he say, Kennedy? No, there's plenty of those too. I remember seeing this, especially when I was in the conspiracy theory paradigm. What are you talking about, Umar? That photo of Kennedy, and Kennedy would have been, what are you talking about? All that was broadcast. Let me stop. All right. Let's see. So President Kennedy, it was assassinated in 1963. And then Malcolm, 1965. And then who else did he say? Martin Luther King, 1968. Okay, just Umar, this is what I mean by just illogical. And I get, maybe he's going to frame this another way or reframe what he's saying here, but just based upon technology and where technology was at in 1865 versus 1963, your argument fails. And then 1963 to 1965, 1963 to 1968, or 1865 to 1965, or 1865 to 1968. And that would have been King. This would have been Malcolm. Anyway, you guys can go on Google right now and type in what he's saying for the death pictures, and it'll populate. So I don't know what. Maybe he'll spin this though. Let's see.
Broadcast the execution, or at least the death.
Yeah.
If you notice, Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, wait a minute. Malcolm's assassination was not broadcast. King's assassination was not broadcast. Kennedy's was, Umar.
Is one of the most famous presidents in American history. A racist, but one of the most famous presidents in American history. You can hardly find a death photo of him. John F. Kennedy, very famous also. You can find death photos of Kennedy, but not as often as you will find death photos of King and Malcolm.
Wow.
That's not true, and it doesn't make any sense. What do you mean often? We have something called Google. You can pick it. You can Google this instantaneously. What do you mean often? This guy, he's so stupid. I mean, I don't mean to say it that way, but he's stupid. By the way, the issue with the audio is that the gain is up too much. They should have turned the gain down and then put the microphone closer. But anyway, you see what he's talking about? Yeah, because it was broadcast. Umar, you won't find those as much as often. What do you mean as often? All you got to do is go to Google and type it in. Goofy.
In other words, when they assassinate our leaders, they put those bodies on display as a conditioning for other actors.
This is so stupid. He do, Crystal, he do. He just be saying anything. Yeah, we have Chat GPT, Umar. This guy, Umar, is a trip, y'all. They put our leaders on display to scare all the other blacks. What are you talking about, Umar? So stupid. Anyway.
Africans to never attempt or even dream of following in their footsteps. Those murders, going back to the Willie Lynch letter, they don't murder African leaders just to eliminate that particular threat at that particular.
He's such a bullshitter. You see his face? He just coming up with shit. He just coming up whatever he can come up, saying whatever.
Particular time. They murder African leaders as a lesson to all of those would-be leaders who would be coming in their path. If we go back to the Willie Lynch letter, whether the letter is authentic or not is irrelevant. The psychological science of it is true and exact. In that,
it's irrelevant. What are you talking about? It's not irrelevant. It's relevant. What are you talking about?
That Willie Lynch letter, it talks about making an example of the biggest and the boldest in front of the women, children, and the other men. That's what Malcolm's assassination was about. That's what King's assassination was about. You know, that's what Dedan Kamafi's assassination was about. Amilcar Cabral, Thomas Sankara, Maurice Bishop. Their
Umar, cut it out.
assassinations were examples to would-be leaders because, again, with most black children being raised by their mothers across the diaspora.
Here we go. All around the world, evidently, Umar. But guess what, Umar? You're a baby mama creator 3 times, bare minimum. And a 4th woman tried to put you on child support. I don't know what ever happened with that. And that's just in Philadelphia. You so backwards, Chatty Patty. You so backwards. You're the problem. See, it's amazing. Umar, people think that Umar is a solution. No, he's a problem. All the problems that he be talking about, it's him. And all these single black mothers, that's because his main target demographic is you single black mothers. He's running game on y'all so that you give him money and you give up the draws. It's amazing. People ain't figured that one out yet. That's why you always got to throw in the baby mama. Excuse me. He don't want nobody to know about this. He don't want people to know about that third baby mama because he impregnated her when he was in his 40s, early 40s. She was in her early 20s. So all this talking that he's talking, he's a hypocrite. Let me do some super chats so I can get my blood pressure down. Let's just get my blood pressure down a little bit. How's it going around? It says, hey, Crash at Lenon. Lenon, I'm screaming. You said, let me skip through this video because Umar is loud and hollering. It's true, though. It's true. He always hollers. That's one thing I never understood about Umar. Why are you always hollering? Just loud? Don't nobody want to hear all that. And it's like, it'd be different if he was doing it like sometimes to make a point, but he always yelling. Especially when he'd be up in them trap bandos out in the middle of the street at night. He'd be yelling. All right. It's true, though. Thank you for the super chat, Miranda. And happy birthday again. User225 says, Umar Johnson and this bald clown probably filming in a hotel lobby. No. It's a studio. It actually looks nice. The studio actually looks nice. So I give the brother a shout out on that. Sit in a hotel lobby. Thank you. Lewis, what's up, Lewis? Says, I didn't know Faison Love knew. Don't do him like that. He don't look like Faison. Let me see.
Not just America. Wow. Across the diaspora, so many of our children are raised by the mother. What does Willie Lynch say?
Well, your children raised by the mamas too, because you a deadbeat, bum.
If you abuse that man in public, the mother will raise her son to be a coward. Wow. For fear that the same thing that happened to the father will happen to the son. So that's why you.
But the daddies ain't there anyway. They're out there like you, just running them streets. What you talking about, Umar? It don't even make sense for you to use single mothers who's been abandoned by deadbeats like you abandon your baby mamas. And if for some reason what they do to you is going to impact your child, when your child don't even know you bum. Don't even make no sense.
You don't see unapologetic, politically and economically unapologetic black men as much as you used to. Definitely not in the United States, because they will publicly lynch and symbolically castrate you.
Here he go. This is all perpetual victimhood, but also it's disrespecting black people.
Sean Puffy Combs, who may have been guilty of some crimes, but did nothing more than any other white mogul has done. Okay,
listen. If someone commits a crime, you don't say to yourself, yeah, but white people are committing that crime too. A crime is a crime. And if you need to go to jail for the crime, then you should go to jail for the crime. It's that simple. But see, Umar, he defends P. Diddy because he always defends abusers. That's what he does, historically speaking. And what I've learned is that abusers defend abusers. There's a sister that said that in the chat room one time. Abusers defend abusers. And that's what Umar does. He has a history of that.
That same space, but we're going to publicly castrate and lynch you since you want to start this black political party, and since you want to sue.
And he always has some sort of reason, like, yeah, well, P. Diddy wanted to create some black political party. What are you talking about? It's the same thing that when Tupac, when he was killed, they would talk, oh, it was because he was trying to start a political party. No, that was some gang shit. That's what that was. That's how it is out there. I'm talking about in California. Yeah, I know it happened in Las Vegas, but that was gang shit from LA. Even I knew that back then. But Umar has to turn it, oh, is this conspiracy because he was trying to set up he's trying to set up a political party, no disrespect, while he's having sex with Madonna. Okay. A black political, okay, all right.
Diageo, this powerful white liquor company, We need Jay-Z to know we're not going to tolerate this. We need Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. We need Rihanna. We need Tiger Woods, not to say that he would, but we need Tiger Woods and Serena and Kanye to know we won't tolerate this kind of stuff. Now, out of all of them, Kanye has been the most outspoken, right? And I appreciate Kanye.
Yeah, but he's criticized Kanye many times in the past.
He's unapologetically black tone. I'm not going to say African with him because I don't know if he identifies as African. So I'm going to say unapologetic.
No, he don't. And most black people in the United States of America don't either. Cut it out. And truth be told, you ain't living off your mama at the age of 50 talk about I'm unapologetically African. No, you're unapologetically bummish. Living off your mama at the age of 51.
Black. And of course, I'm the father of both of those sayings, by the way. I created.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Those unapologetically black, unapologetically African. Even
No, he's not. He's not. There was a brother who wrote a book called Unapologetically Black, and then there's someone who stated, and I believe it, that John Henry Clark coined the phrase unapologetically African, and the person gave, and I have it in my phone too, because I screenshot it. If I ever have some time, I'll go and see, and I'll go see it, and I would not be surprised. But see, this is just Umar. He's a plagiarist. Just like when he says a post-traumatic slavery disease or disorder, whatever he calls it, he got that from Dr. Joy DeGruy. Most of what he talks about in terms of black boys, especially early on, his rhetoric, he got that from Dr. Joanna Kunjufu. And a lot of the psychological meanderings of Umar, that when he goes off on black psychology, he got that from Dr. Amos Wilson. A lot of the stuff he's talking about white supremacy, he got that from Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. He's a plagiarist. Yeah, Dr. John Henry Clark. Yeah.
Even though everybody ran with it, those are Dr. Umar's creations. But anyhow.
No, they're not. This guy, he lies so much, it's incredible.
Even in Kanye's unapologetic assessment and expose of the Israeli control of black entertainment, he always manages to keep a snow bunny on his arm. And the reason Kanye keeps the snow bunny on his arm, because the snow bunny symbolizes to the white power structure that no matter what I say or how much I challenge you, I still go home and sleep with you.
So ridiculous. What's up, Brandon says, how is he praising Kanye when Kanye has barely dated a black woman in the last decade or so? I thought it was snow bunnies never. That's what I'm saying. Well, Umar, he a trip. See, Umar's reduced himself down to that phrase. That's all, but it's more like comedic than anything else. And people laugh. The younger people, they find it hilarious. They get all excited stuff, but it's all emotionalism. It's not intellect based. But Umar will take anything, even if it's contradictory, and try to spin it for his own little narrative. He'll take anything. I mean, he be making up stuff. Yeah, you don't see the white leaders as often, the death pictures. What are you talking about? All you gotta do is Google. Anyway, good point. Thank you, Brandon, for the super chat. Let me get caught up in here so I can get we can get moving here. Let's see. Louis Suck says Umar does push financial liberation. He liberates black people from their money. You're right about that. I mean, out of all people to talk about anything dealing with money or finances, or because I've heard him talk about wealth building. A lot of these individuals who talk like wealth building, they ain't got a pot to piss in. They're pretending. And Umar, in this case, when it comes to money and economics and wealth building, he ain't got no room to speak. Listen, he's been living off of black people since 2011. He's been homeless since 2019. He doesn't even have his own vehicle. These are all statements of fact. He's been living with his mama since 2020. Living off of his mama since 2020. He hasn't worked a job since 2011. He ain't even talk about wealth building and to pass it on to the next generation. How is he going to do that when he's a deadbeat? He's an absentee father. He ain't even got no money in the first place. Even if he did, he ain't even take care of his own kids. This guy's child support docket. 3 women have put Umar on child support. A 4th woman attempted to do so. And he don't even pay child support on time. but he'll keep liberating black people's money for a school that don't exist. Thank you, Louis Luck. Yeah, we're gonna come back to this too. I want to see if this guy looks like Faison Love. The mental chiropractor sent in a super, what do they call that? Super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How's it going, Barry? Bear says this guy doesn't get out often. Yeah, well, you can tell Umar he's really stuck. Someone has said it recently. He's as if he's stuck in the 90s. It's true. He's already stuck in the 90s. It's amazing because he's traveled the world, but he doesn't have any special insight to the world. It's almost as if he lives, and it's true. It's not even almost as if he lives in a delusional state, and that's reflective. You can just tell he hasn't really gotten out much in the sense of like as a grown adult doing things. People say, yeah, but he's a community active. Yeah, but in what community? Online? Where's Umar's building, functional building at? Where he's having events for the black community. It doesn't exist. He's grassroots. He's not grassroots. You have to have something established. What does Umar establish that's real intangible? Not one thing. I think part of it is that he lives in a delusional state, in the state of arrested development. And it comes off as if it's almost as if he's just, he's a dummy. I don't mean to say it that way, but he's like a dummy. But he knows how to run his mouth and try to sound intelligent. I don't find him to be particularly intelligent. I think he's crafty. There's a difference between the two. He's very crafty and calculating. Yeah. Thanks, Barry. Kogo says, we're not going to make it through 2 minutes all these. Yeah, I know. We'll table point out the lies. I'll do that from the rest of the video because we already, an hour in. We ain't got but about, 10 minutes into the video. Thanks, Kogo. Seth, how's it going, Seth? Said, nah, man, the host knows that Umar's bullshit and straight up cap. Yeah, it's possible that he does. I can't say yet what I think on that. I'll have to watch a little bit more of this. I just find it hard to believe that in 2025 that people who have Umar on that they don't know, that he's a con man, that he's a scam artist, that he's a professional bullshitter. I just find that hard to believe. In 2025, now I can see it, in back in the day, I could see that, but in 2025, I can't say. So you might be right, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna table my opinion on that until a little bit later on because I want to see what type of interaction the host has with Umar moving forward. And God bless you too, Seth. I've been praying for you and your family. Okay, thank you for the soup chat, sir. Seth also said, excuse me, Umar looking like a Planet of the Apes stunt. Umar looking like a Planet of the Apes stunt double. I was gonna say what kind of shirt anyway, but it almost seems like it's camouflage, one of them camo shirts. And the other guy, he does look like Faison Love a little bit. Yeah, he has on a chef and he got on the Nikes, the matching Nike. All right, thanks. God bless you, brother. The CJ says, I wonder if Umar at the military school got the blanket party treatment from the movie Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, Umar hasn't really talked much about what his experiences were. He did mention that it was very difficult for him. I have a sense, my opinion, CJ, that Umar, that he was bullied by his father already. He was different anyway. I think he was teased. I think the young boys that were in them streets that they bullied Umar too, and that they clowned him because he was different. He's awkward. He's still awkward to this day. Ain't nothing wrong with that per se. Being awkward, because I'm a little awkward myself. I have to admit. But I think that the trauma of being separated from his mother was huge, but then also the treatment that he received while he was in that academy, I think that it was traumatizing as well. So he's never talked about exactly what took place. It'd be fascinating if he ever came forward and told the truth about that. But I think it would give extra insight into why it is that Umar is the way that he is today. But again, I think the trauma goes back much further than 9th grade. And Sister Lene has talked about that. But I have a sense that his experiences in that military academy, that it wasn't all positive. In fact, I think a lot of it was traumatizing to him. Right. Thanks, CJ, for super chat. What's up, Black Wolf? Black Wolf gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Whoever received that, make sure you thank Black Wolf. Thank you, Black Wolf, for being so gracious. Unit 55 says, elders speak out. Umar Johnson still around. Did elders fail? Well, I think that not enough elders spoke out. It would have been better. I think it would have been more impactful if more spoke out back then. But the other thing is that the nature of the internet, Umar is already secluded from the Black conscious grassroots community anyway, and he has been for a very long time. His his platform is the internet. So even if more elders came out, it may not have made a difference because ultimately Umar, he's accessing far more people in the Black community through the internet than he ever would if he was a part of the brick and mortar grassroots organization working inside the community. So I think that's one of the big problems with the internet, because we have a lot of people, Jay Morrison as another example, that they didn't necessarily establish anything of consequence. It was just they carefully crafted an image online. It was all marketing for Jay Morrison, and then was able to get, in Jay Morrison's case, almost $12 million out of Black people. And then he purchases this building called the Black House. He ends up selling it, but he purchased it. But that was all for show. It didn't move anything forward, and it didn't put money back in. It didn't pay out significant dividends to the investors. Anyway, the point is that the internet it's a different type of a beast, and most of those leaders that spoke out about Umar back in the day in the Black conscious space, they're not internet based. They're from a different generation. This is not their thing. Thank you, UG5 for super chat. Mobu says maybe Umar could get some elders to form some sort of board to oversee and direct. There has to be a name for such a board of directors or something. Yeah, he's supposed to have one anyway as a nonprofit. He doesn't have it on the paperwork with his IRS filings for FDMG. He's listed as the only person on the board. But that just goes to show you it's a megalomania. He wants total power and control. The other thing is that if you're working with other people who are part of the board, there will be an accountant, and all the information would, there will be reports produced, and everyone on the board will be looking through the paperwork. They'll be looking at the figures. They'll be looking at how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, how much money has been received, how much money is still needed, so forth and so on. Well, that's exactly what Umar does not want to happen, because if there were people on the board who saw what he was doing with the money, the vast majority he spent on himself and his lifestyle, they would have shut him down a long time ago. And see, if you have a board, they're trying to protect their integrity too. So they're not going to let you get away with any old thing unless they're in on it with you. See? But Umar has never established a board of directors or a board of elders, any of that. But the reason why is because he wants to keep the money in his hands, and that he's in control of it so that he can do whatever he wants to with it. And he doesn't want to anyone else, no transparency. He doesn't want anyone else knowing what he's doing with the money, because if people knew, then he would be exposed right away. I'm going to tell y'all, Hamobu, if at some point the IRS steps in and they do a full audit and it's published, I'm talking about that it's published, some indictment comes down with the IRS, dealing with Umar, United States versus Umar Abdullah Johnson, and it becomes public record. They subpoena his bank accounts, they subpoena his CashApp, they subpoena his GoFundMe, they subpoena his checks and money orders to his P.O. boxes. The first one was in Philadelphia, the other one that he's currently using in Wilmington, Delaware. They subpoena all of the financial records, and then it's published publicly. It would be a firestorm. And at that point, people will be like, okay, this bald head dude up here with the big head, he wasn't lying. He never lied on Umar. Right? Thanks, Mobu. But Umar doesn't want that, because if he doesn't want a board of directors, because then there would have to be transparency. You're going to be working with professionals. There'll be a lawyer on the team, all this kind of stuff. Umar doesn't want that, because they'll look at the figures. They'll realize very quickly that most of this money that he's collected, he spent on himself. Thanks, Mobu. Is that Damar says, this dude got the James Brown syndrome, talking loud, saying nothing. Yeah, that's the thing about Umar. It's entertaining, but he's not really saying anything. Even while we're watching this, it's not like I'm like, oh wow, that's no. He's in some cases he's just making up stuff. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln and Kennedy and Malcolm and King, and that's why they do that, so that the next generation, they don't want to be leaders. And Umar, what are you talking about? Just talking loud, ain't saying nothing. That's real talk. Thanks for super chat, sir. What's up, Miss Controversy says, hey, Lenon, wasn't Malcolm's assassination assassinated by the NOI, other black men? WTF is this clown talking about? Well, Umar will take whatever he can, like I said earlier, and he'll take bits and pieces to spin his narrative. It's like recently, we were watching this video last week, and Umar said that black people, because he always talking bad about black people, Black people, we purchased 91, something like this. Y'all correct me in the chat room. 91% of all beauty products in the United States, whatever he said. United States, I think he said something like that. I said to myself, where are you getting that figure from? 91, we purchased 91%? So he'll take and he'll just make up stuff, but then he'll leave stuff out. He'll change the figures. He ain't gonna give you the whole story just to fit his narrative. And why? And so the question becomes, why does Umar do that, Ms. Controversy? Well, he does that because he's a master manipulator. It's amazing. People buying, people be believing that what he be just talking, running his mouth. Anyway, thanks, Ms. Controversy. Real quick, another example is he always talking about Frederick Douglass, but you rarely see other people have to bring up the fact that Frederick Douglass had him a white wife. And so that's bunny hopping. Why would you open up a school and name it after a bunny hopper, Umar, if it's Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never? You know what I think? I think Umar didn't learn about that fact until later on. That's what I think. But by that point, it was too late. He was a bunny hopper. Helen Pitts was her name. All right, thanks, Ms. Controversy. Y'all go look it up. Corruption Point says Umar wants us to remain divided and trapped in victimhood so he can act as a savior and take our money. Yeah, a lot of people with this narcissistic, like God complex, Messiah complex. Umar called himself the Black Messiah, et cetera, et cetera. The Black Christ. He's called himself the Black Christ. Oftentimes, what he does is he paints the narratives so that Black people feel as if we are all disempowered, and then therefore he's the one who steps to the plate as the savior. He's the one who has all the solutions. Where in point of fact, in his real life, he's struggling worse than most. No job, no house, no car. Can't even pay basic bills associated with these trap bandos, living off his mama. But that's Umar. See, make sure you feel like you're the victim so that no matter what's going on in his life, it's irrelevant. Deadbeat, don't take care of his kids. That's irrelevant. Subjugate you so that you perceive him as being the savior. He's the leader that's going to come in and solve all the problems and save you. Okay. Well, again, master manipulator. Right. Thank you, Corruption Point. Brandon says, how is he? Oh, yeah, I got this one earlier. That was a great point right there. Miranda says, I just talked about you, Information Man and Brother M, giving Umar advice, and rightfully you said he's hard-headed. He is. He's hard-headed. This hurts my heart because clearly the elders want to help. Umar doesn't want a board of directors to help. Yeah, he doesn't want transparency, and he is hard-headed because he feels as if, for Umar, he feels as if he's beyond reproach, and then everyone's under him, and that no one could tell him anything. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't know this, but that's one of the reasons why he failed as a school psychologist, because he could have had a wonderful career as a school psychologist if he had stuck with it. But part of the problem with Umar is that he does not want to take direction from anyone. He doesn't want to take direction from anyone because he wants to perceive himself to be the person, in charge. He's the HNIC. He's at the top. He's the apex. See, Umar tells a story, and I have it in my notes, where there was when he was working in Philadelphia School District, there was an elder he was working with who was over Umar. And again, Umar could never do anything by himself. What I mean by that, he was never licensed. He always had to have someone above him, a superior, to sign off on his work. See, and that's been a point of contention for Umar, because instead of Umar going to get his license, he doesn't do that. He would have been able to have more power and autonomy to do what he wanted to do. At a certain point, he decides not to do that. And so therefore, he's subject to someone above him who has to sign off on all of his work. Well, Umar, with the megalomania and the narcissism, he doesn't want that type of relationship. And you should see him as he tells the story about how the director of whatever the program was, he's working as a school psychologist, but the director of all that was telling Umar to be patient because Umar wanted to get more power. It wasn't about helping more Black people or helping out more Black boys. He wants to get more power. He wants to ascend higher up into the ranks. And Umar tells a story. He says that the elder was telling him, telling Umar that you have to be patient, and stop creating problems, because Umar, he's a rebel rouser. He's always creating problems wherever he goes. And without the patience, because the directive for Umar was, listen, I want to gain power and control. That's the same thing with the UNIA. He wanted power and control, and he wasn't patient enough to go through the steps. And they always go through steps to go up. You get hired, you go through steps. So you get raised, you get a promotion, then you work, you get another raise, you get a promotion, et cetera, et cetera. But not Umar. because he wants power and control. So what ends up happening is that the elder, and Umar tells a story, the elder tells Umar, well, listen, just be patient. You give this 3 or 4 years from now and you'll be running this place. But not Umar. He didn't have that patience. It's about power and control. Well, the same thing applies to Umar receiving guidance from people who know more about life and more about any given thing than Umar does. But it's difficult for someone with that level of narcissism to take on the suggestions of others because they feel as if they're the person who should be, suggesting, giving advice to everyone else because they know everything. Well, that's Umar. But see, the truth is, Miranda, at the end of the day, look at where Umar is at. Look at where FDMG is at. This fake, funky school that does not exist. After almost 7 years, look where it's at. I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. Umar is an embarrassment. And part of the reason why he's where he's at, not just with this school foolishness, but also in his life, is because he's unwilling to humble himself and take suggestions and take guidance. You got to be humble to do that. Umar lacks humility. It's a narcissism. Thanks, Miranda. We'll super chat. Tamika says, Umar needs to know this, not Rihanna, Jay-Z, etc. They didn't take money to build a school. Hey, amen. He did. They give back. All he does is feel entitled to money. Yeah, he feels entitled to money. He feels entitled to crushing cookies. You're absolutely right about this. It's like when Umar Johnson followers, they'll say stuff like, well, where's your school? Well, I never told people I was going to open up a school. And then I asked people for no money to open up a school either. So what are you talking about? The same thing with Umar says. He's such a con man and master manipulator. He'll say stuff like, you guys buy Nikes and spend money on the grits and all this. Yeah, but when you spend money on the grits, you get some grits. When you spend money on the Nikes, meanwhile, Umar wears Nikes. But when you spend money on the Nikes, you get Nikes. But when people have donated to FDMG to open up a school for all black boys and girls, a boarding school, mind you, they've gotten nothing. The children have gotten nothing. Not one black child has been educated. And over a decade and a half, not one black child has been educated. He conceptualized this in 2004. That's 20 years. It's embarrassing. And then I don't mean to be like this, but then to have his followers still support this foolish, that's even more of an embarrassment. Because you would think that at some point they would click in their mind that this ain't right now. If you like other stuff that Umar's talking about, okay, good, cool, go on for it. With this school scam, obviously it's a scam. All right. Anyway, and then he feels entitled to people's money. He does. And I could pull up the video. I remember one of the first videos with Umar, he was mad at his followers because they sent him $250,000 at that point. He felt like they should have sent him more. For what, though? He hadn't done nothing. And he called them trifling. He called them trifling ass black people. I kid you not. His donors. That's one thing. Don't do that. Same thing. That's why I always take the time to acknowledge the super chats because it's a respecting. It's the spirit of appreciation. Don't disrespect the people that are supportive of you, that's donated you. That's something that Umar has done consistently, but that's because he feels entitled to other people's money. So I think it'd be different if Umar had his own money, skin in the game. He was putting his own money in, because then he would value money. He doesn't value it. Same thing. If he had a job, he was working a job, he would value money more because that's time. Time is money. Time is also life. So money is a form of life too. It's just further on down the chain. But Umar, he doesn't work a job. He doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know what that feels like. So if people are going to send him money for not doing anything, he's not going to value money. He's not going to value work either. And so he just feels entitled at that point. Okay? Good point, Tamika. Corruption Point says, why is Umar stuck in the 60s? What he's saying is so disconnected from the reality. That's crazy. Yeah, a lot of Umar's rhetoric is stuck in the past. And it's not even just his rhetoric. I think Umar lives, even in terms of his I'll just say his emotional development. It's like he's stuck in the 90s. It's like he's stuck in the 90s. It could be argued the 80s. Because he still dresses like, he was, back in the 90s. Now, I can't even say emotionally, because emotionally, he's more like a 7-8-year-old child. Anyway, they be, the one to be throwing tantrums. That's what he remind me of. Thanks, Corruption Point. Chastity Lee says Umar needs those 3-letter agencies to hurry up and put in that work. It's fascinating that he has not been hemmed up. Yeah, it really is. He hasn't been hemmed up yet. Yeah, you would think by now. Even since he acquired these abandoned buildings, they're talking about 7 years. He's still collecting money for a school that does not exist. All they would have to do is look at his IRS filings. It's amazing. IRS, all they got to do is just look at his IRS filings and they'll know right away something ain't right. And then subpoena all of his bank records, all of the money that he's collected, like I said earlier, and else they would figure that out so quickly. They got people that specialize in that. It wouldn't take them but about 3 or 4 days. And then if that was ever published, boy, I tell you, boy, it would be a firestorm. It would be a firestorm. And then they'd be like, yeah, that guy that on YouTube, I always talk about Umar. I thought he was a hater. No, ain't nobody hate Umar. What's there to hate? He a bum. I like for him to do better, to be honest with you. And that's real talk. I'd like to see the brother do better. I ain't gonna say brother shit. I can't call him no brother because he out here sexually exploiting these black women. Not no brother of mine. Goofy. But as again, I always say in my mind, one by one. And it's only a matter of time, one way or the other. Okay. Thanks, Chastity, for super chat. Uncle Joe says, hit the like. Yeah, y'all hit that like button. Okay. For the Bloods of Eastside Bible. Let me stop playing. Yeah, y'all hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. Okay, thank you for super chat. Let's get back to the video. Also, I need to check in on. Hey, how's it going, Vinny? I need to check and see where we're at with this poll. We got about 1,850 people in the building. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna go. Let me go see how many likes we got. We probably got about I don't know, 15, 20 likes. Oh no, we're doing good on the likes. We got about 23 likes. All right. You know it's bad when you got 1,800 people and 23 likes. All right, we're doing good, family. No, we already got 677. I'm just playing. Thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate it. The poll question for today. We already have 1,805 votes. Is FDMG coming in 2025? 91% said no. 9% said yes. You 9%, you got to be trolling. You got to be trolling. We have 700 likes. You guys got to be trolling. Either that or that's Umar. He set up roughly, I don't know what. He set up about 200. Roughly, about 200. 180 accounts, burner accounts, and he voted yes. All right. Let's get back to the how's it going, Mixers, Monica? Let's get back to the video. Here we go. We got to make some progress now. Here we go.
Question though, so when you think about our community and other communities, so you mentioned the Israeli power structure.
Yeah, thank y'all.
But let's talk like the Jewish community for an example.
Hey, how's it going, Mixers, Monica?
Why
are you looking like a superhero? What in the world? Is that your Halloween? It looks like you flying too. What in the world? What's up, Black Anonymous? Lewis says, can you imagine Umar working the drive-thru at McDonald's? You want a number one? Do you want to donate $10 to a new charity called FDMG? No, we're closed, man. Yeah, he'll be trying to get money out of people anyway. You know, that's the thing. I don't like that about these because when you and I'll be feeling bad because my wife, she likes and one of my daughters, they like what is that? The coffee place. I done forgot what it's called. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The green, what you call it? Starbucks. They like Starbucks, but when you go and you order at Starbucks, it always, when they put the thing out for you to tap your card, it always, or swipe your card or whatever, it'll say, what do they call that? Do you want to give a, I don't know, whatever. And I feel so bad. I mean, I don't feel like I should have to because everything's already overpriced. But I do anyway, just because it just doesn't feel right not to do that. That's a scam. Yeah, it's gratuity. Yeah, gratuity. Yeah, Starbucks. Yeah, I'm sorry, people. I'm getting old. It's a tip. You guys, it's a doggone shame. I can't remember what a tip is. So that goes to show you how cheap I am. No, but it comes up on the screen. It says, whatever. They give the different percentages. I'm like, man, the little coffee like this is like $7. They call it a pecan macchiato or something like that. Macchiato. I said, what kind of language you guys talking about? But my wife, she know all that. And my other daughter, they be getting there. I don't understand why they get so happy about it. Yeah, let's go. What is it? I don't like coffee. Anyway, well, you know what I'm gonna do tonight. After the show, I'm gonna go to Starbucks and give me one of them macchiatos and pour it all up on my chest. Yeah, I'm gonna get in that bed. That's right, family. Now I done figured it out, family. It's on tonight. Okay. I'm gonna get some of that. What they call that? The cream. No Diddy, but the you know, they put the stuff in. You know, they usually put it on the top of it. Give me some of that rubbing on all in my chest. It's on and popping. Okay. See, now I done figured it out now. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get some of that whipped cream, family. No Diddy. Yeah, you're right. You're right. What you talking about with your name? What are you talking about? I'm gonna get some of that whipped cream, family. All right, here we go. Shout out to the Good Crush that's undefeated. Hope y'all having a good time. Let's go.
I don't know if there's a Jewish leader, if you will, but they follow sort of like a culture that allows them to stay together. Is us looking for leadership? Is that the issue that Black folks have? Like, shouldn't we start to focus on creating a culture that, regardless of to a point where we wouldn't need leaders? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, now, when we look at the Jewish community or any non-African community, they all have leaders.
Okay.
You just don't always see them. The reason why Black and African leaders are always on display is, number one, we often have to serve a dual function of being a leader and simultaneously an organizer as well.
What is this guy talking about?
You look at other cultures, the organizer is here, the leader is here. For example, Charlie Kirk, okay, was one of the organizers of the MAGA vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was able to just lead, to use a simple, quick, and dirty example. The organizer is over here, the leader is over here. And
what? Umar, what are you talking about? This guy, let me just say this. We got to get going here, because otherwise we're going to be up here for a month. Umar is a professional bullshitter. Just be talking out the side of his neck, making up shit. And he just keep going. It's amazing. It's a true talent. It is. That's his talent. He keeps going and just build off of the bullshit. And he just keeps going. That's hard to do.
African communities, the leader also has to be an organizer, because we are not a well-organized people.
Okay, let me be clear about this. Umar, you're not organized. I'm very organized. I'm meticulous with my shit. Everything got to be right where it needs to be. I know my schedule. I know my wife's schedule. I know my kids' schedule. They start to get colds. I got to take my daughters because I ain't having them walking in the cold like that. Take them to the bus stop. They like that though too. Sometimes, you know, if it's like, especially like when it really starts snowing, I say, I'll just take it to school. They're like, okay. We drive. They put their at least my second daughter, she likes to play her music, so she'll connect her phone to the car and put on whatever she wants. It'd be Weekend and stuff, but she play Weekend a lot. That's how you know you old, when you start telling stories. Just be talking and start talking about other shit. Yeah. You know, then after that, you know, I dropped them off. I went and got me some Cheetos. After that, I saw this. Oh, okay. Anyway, here we go.
Nor do we have enough people willing to stand up and stick their necks out for the collective at all. Yeah. So you often find leaders assuming a dual function, unless you have an intergenerational organization like Marcus Garvey's UNIA, or like the original Black Panther Party, or the Nation of Islam, you know, where you have intergenerational organization.
Yeah, how's it going, Bridget? Yeah, I'll be forgetting stuff too. I'll be forgetting stuff. I don't really repeat stuff. My wife does though, because she'll say something like, "Yeah, there's another," because I'm into sci-fi. There's another Predator movie that's going to be coming. I say, "Oh yeah." She said, "Yeah." You want me to play the trailer, because it's just they released it on such and such. I say, "No, that's okay." 5 minutes later, You know, there's another. Said, baby, you just told me that. Well, I know, but did you want me to play the trailer? I said, go on and play the trailer. Go on and play it then, you know. But it's true. When you get older, you repeat stuff, you forget stuff. The thing for me is stares. We got a lot of stares. I don't like that. All right, here we go.
Responsibilities can be disseminated. Leaders here, Honorable Minister Farrakhan, but he
What's
has
up,
his
Lene?
soldiers
Shout out
and
to
his
Lene.
ministers and the queens who will do
Lene
the
Stacks,
organizing.
who blew the spot up with Umar. Poor Umar. I'll be feeling bad for him. Here we go. Shout out to Lene.
For him.
Yeah.
In most cases, you don't have that, especially if you're dealing in revolutionary politics, because those organizations tend not to last long anyway, because there's such a threat, they got to be destroyed.
What is he talking about?
Right? So whenever you build from the ashes, you often have to organize and lead at the same time. But going back to your point with the Jewish community, because of their organization, right?
Yeah, Bridget, I just don't want to start chewing and nothing in my mouth. That's when you know you really old, huh? I know. Okay, let me stop. Let's go.
Right? Because of their organization, leaders don't have to be out front. The more organized a people, the less you need to see their leadership. Let's look at American capitalism, right? Most of us would not know the faces of those banks, those privately owned banks that control the Federal Reserve. There
you go. This conspiracy theory. And I know what he's talking about because I was all into this. Let's see where he goes.
Wouldn't know the faces of those bank leaders if they passed us on the street.
Right.
Why don't they have to show themselves? Because the more organized a system is, the less the leader needs to reveal themselves.
Yeah, but why are you comparing a financial institution or institutions to black people? What are you talking about, Umar? Black grassroots leadership. That's apples and oranges anyway.
And this is one of the reasons when you deal with white supremacy or white capitalism, if you say, well, let's go take out the leaders of white supremacy on the global level, you only know 5 faces. Right. You only know a Elon Musk, a Donald Trump, a Bill Gates, right? You don't know them other ones. You don't know who's at the head of Skull and Bones. You don't know who's at the Order of Rome. You don't know who heads the Illuminati. You don't know who's the chair of the Bilderberger Group. Right?
Yeah, I told y'all. See, because and I know all this. He talking about Skull and Bones. Umar, come on, man. Listen, I used to do documentaries on all this stuff. Skull and Bones, the Trilateral Commission, you know, the list goes on and on and on. But the point is, this stuff is old. This old shit. Y'all remember Alex Jones? Alex Jones was talking about this shit. I don't even know what year that was. What, 2005 or something like that? But he got to mix it. Like I was saying, Umar take bits and pieces and mix it all together. It's apples and oranges. Anyway. Yeah, the Jesuits. There's all kinds of, yeah, it's like 2000. Listen, I know I was producing all that stuff back in the day. 2008-ish. Yeah, you're right. You know, and you know, that George Bush was in the Skull and Bones and his daddy was in the Skull and Bones, and they would do these rituals where they get the hot chocolate and they get butt naked. They get butt naked in the room with all they get hot chocolate and rub it all on their chest. Then they bring a gold in. Oh shit, here we go. They bring a gold in, that gold. They put the gold on top of the roof, family. Then they get the snakes. They take the slithering snakes. They put in the slithering snake in between their thighs. They get a Pop-Tart. Then they get a Pop-Tart and some French fries and rub it in there. And rub it in on top. Rub it in the snake's nose. Said, why are you gonna do the snake like that? Don't do the snake like that. That's wrong. And then the Illuminati, they all up in your body. I said, oh, no did it, no did it. All right. All right. Yeah, I don't know why I said pop. Anytime you put in Pop-Tarts is funny, ain't it? What kind of name is that? Pop-Tarts. So what guys? All right, here we go.
Who's really running Mossad behind the scenes, who's really running the United States behind the scenes, because Donald Trump is his employee, not an employer, right? So again, because they are so well organized, the leadership doesn't have to show itself often.
And Pinky the Bando Bird hold the camcorder. They're recording all of it, family. They record all of it to blackmail. They want to blackmail that snake. They want to blackmail that goat. That's wild. Well, that is wild. It is some old rhetoric shit right here. They want to blackmail the Pop-Tart company, family. All right. This chat room is a mess. This chat room is a mess. All right, let me stay focused. Let me get out this chat room. You guys is wild. Here we go.
With that being said, it is incongruous for us to accurately compare, though, the Jewish community and the black community. Let's just take the American African community here in the States. The reason the comparison is incongruous, they never went through what we went through, right? They had their 5-year Holocaust under Hitler. That does not compare to 3 centuries, of human subjugation, dehumanization, mass exploitation, which was the African slave trade, right? Number 2, they received global help during that Holocaust that gave birth to the nation now known as Israel, right? Other people came to their aid. Britain and
Israel existed way anyway. Whatever.
France and America, and took land from another people and carved out a nation state for them. Nobody has ever done that for us. And then thirdly,
we got a point there.
Post-Holocaust, a lot of them, for fear of retribution, changed their names and hid their identity. They went underground. Not all, but a lot of Jews went underground, right, in order to assimilate into the Western world, because they were not well liked, not only by Adolf Hitler, but other people, due to stereotypes and other things, didn't really like them, so they hid their identity. You can never hide being African. I can't assimilate as a Chinese. I can't assimilate as a Caucasian. I can't assimilate as an East Indian.
No, you can't assimilate as an Asian. You can't East Asian. Jewish, yeah. In fact, they're classified now as white, but that wasn't always the case. That's a more recent phenomenon, just like Italians. Okay, but Asians, stop. Umar, cut it out. Hey, you ever heard? I had never in my life heard of a white Asian.
India on Arab, but the European Jews, they were able to assimilate as
and Arabs too. Hold on, let me hear what this guy's saying.
Into the Western world, because they were not well liked, not only by Adolf Hitler, but other people, due to stereotypes and other things, didn't really like them, so they hid their identity. You can never hide being African. I can't assimilate as a Chinese. I can't assimilate.
Oh, okay, I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. He's saying that he can't assimilate as a black person. Yeah, but Asians can't assimilate and act like they're white either, Umar. So why are you using that? This just doesn't make any sense. This guy, boy, his logic is flawed. I see what he's saying, but the logic is flawed. It's a comparison. Like I was saying earlier, it's the apples to oranges.
As a Caucasian, I can't assimilate as an East Indian or an Arab.
Yeah, but an East Indian or an Arab, they can't assimilate as a white person either, Umar. Anyway.
But the European Jews, they were able to assimilate as Anglo-Saxons, right? As everyday French, as Irish, as Italian. Many of them changed their last names. I was told this by Jewish people I work with, how their grandparents changed their names fleeing the Holocaust, right? And they
Yeah, no, that did happen. No, that's true.
Anglo-Saxon names and non-Jewish names. And so one of the things that protects them so well today is the fact that a lot of people, because of intermarriage, right, in the changing of the name, a lot of people don't know if you're Jewish on the surface or not. They got to ask you. Right. Because today, a European Jew doesn't look much different from any other Southern European. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know about that. I can tell, I guess.
So whereas you and I, we could never hide our ethnicity or race among.
Okay, now that's true. That's a good point. No, I agree with that.
It's another group. So there's certain adaptations they were able to take advantage of that you and I never could. In addition to that, as much as Jewish people may not be liked by some groups, African people are unliked by everyone. They want your culture, they want your music, they want your talent, they want your inventions, they want your skill, they want your rhythm, but they don't want any of your blues.
They want your rhythm. What you talking about, Umar? You the one that said you ain't got no rhythm, which is true.
Powerful, powerful. So
this guy said powerful.
What is it going to take, right? Because when you think about, we're always called the minority, but when you think about, us in America, you think about, us in the diaspora, we're technically not the minority, right? So we're not the minority. We have all of the resources, natural resources, the power. What is it going to take for us to get, to take back the power and take back the economic resources, most importantly?
First of all, when they call us minority, from the perspective of white supremacy, they're not describing our numerical strength because numerically we're the majority. The reason we don't appear to be is you have so many Africans who are trying to disidentify from being African.
There's always disrespect towards black people, including Africans.
For example, if we look at the Latino African community, right? A lot of them will tell you, I'm not black. Yeah. You understand? And look darker than you and I. Right. But because I speak Spanish or because my
darker than you and what do you? Umar, you tripping?
Skin is so pale, right, that I no longer feel an affinity for my race. I will just disidentify with it. Why did America come up with the concept of Hispanic? Hispanic is not a cultural term.
Yeah, Master, I grew up watching JFK get his blown out on TV. This guy just be talking. Yeah, I know. I was saying that earlier. I'm saying that Umar just be making, and he just be running his mouth. And I noticed, like, when and I could tell earlier on, he was in the mode of disparaging black people, but also just, talking out the side of his neck. Because you'll see he'll start looking up like this and start doing his hands like this, and he's just trying to think of some shit to say. I mean, JFK, even way after, because I was in a conspiracy theory. That was one of the main conspiracy theories that kind of got me into diving into that stuff. But Umar, it's more often that they show the death pictures of Malcolm and Dr. King because they want to scare the younger generation so that they won't become leaders. What are you talking about, Umar? Thanks for the super chat, Master Khalid. Hey, Lenon, this guy looks like Umar 2.0. No, he don't. Don't do him like that. Don't do it. He did say powerful, though. He said powerful like Umar. He said powerful. So you might be right there, lady. I'm not quite sure, right? But thank you for the super chat. Let me do some of these super chats so I can get caught up in here. Thank you, lady. Thank you, Master Khalid. Seth says Umar can't speak one African language. You're absolutely right about that. But he did say that the boys was going to learn African language. Y'all remember that? He don't know none of it. He's such a con man. All this Pan-African, this and that, but he can't speak not one African language. Shouldn't even say it that way. Not one language in Africa. I should say it that way. other than English. This guy, he's such a hypocrite. He really is. But he sure did say that the black boys, they're going to learn African language, and they're going to learn African spirituality and African knitting and African, I don't know. Just throw whatever you want in there. That's what he was saying. Thanks, Ed. Simply Complicated says, Lenon, do you remember Damon Wayans playing the jail character Oswald Bates? Yeah, that's Umar. That's what Umar sounds like right here. Yeah. And if you look at Oswald Bates, he's just talking out the side of his neck. It was fun. It was one of the funniest skits I've seen on what's called. To this day, I can see it in my mind. He's sitting behind a jail cell with a kufi on. Yes, my brother, and that's Umar. But it's like talking out the side of their neck and just to try to sound intelligent. That's really what it is. That's what it is. So that's why if a person asks Umar a question that he didn't know the answer to, he'll make up an answer, as opposed to saying, I don't know. Or I'm going to look into that. I'm not quite sure. He'll come up with something. So that's what he's doing here. You start seeing him do like this. He's trying to figure out something to say. And then he starts. And then once he starts, he just keeps, it's a skill set. Not many people can do that. I mean, I'm amazed by this. It's shady. It's Oswald Bate-ish. Yeah. But Umar, he does that. He does it all the time. Thank you, Simply Complicated, for super chat. Yeah, that was one of the funniest skits on In Living Color back in the day. A lot of people underestimate how important that show was. That show was huge back then, huge. And a lot of great comedians, actors came through there. Even dancers. What's her name came through there? Can't remember her name right now. Lopez. I was gonna say Christina Lopez, not Christina. Jennifer Lopez. She came through there. Jamie Foxx came through there. What's his name? He became real big in Hollywood as an actor. He played The Mask. Jim Carrey came through there. So a lot of people came through there. Thank you again for super chat. I appreciate it. Truck Talk says, Lego my ego family. yeah. Hey, I remember that. Pierre, thanks for being here. Pierre, what's up, Pierre? Land says, every time I'm dumbfounded by something he says, I have to remember this is the same guy who said black people should acquire nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. That's Umar. But Umar, he said a lot of crazy stuff. That 10% of the black boys, they need to be exterminated. I kid you not, I don't have the video, but one time he said that they're going to teach the boys and girls how to fly helicopters, and that the parents would fly into the airport. And then once they're at the airport, their child's going to pick them up in the helicopter and then fly their parent to the school. One time he said that they were going to put an observatory on the roof of these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay, so yeah, nuclear weapons, whatever, just throw anything in there. It works. Umar, he a trip. Thanks, Spearland. How's it going, Lene? Lene says, Umar is stuck in Fahrenheit 9/11. I probably watched that thing probably about 50 times. He never speaks on any of the mountain high things that are current, almost like they ain't put out the documentary. Yeah. They put out the documentary, he started talking about it. Yeah, he's stuck. He's largely stuck in the past. And I was there too. I remember. I was there. It was a huge mistake on my part because it set me on a path that I'm still recovering from, because I wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy. And it's one thing to look into things, but it's another thing to where you go so far down into the rabbit hole that you get lost. And it's apparent to me that Umar, he's still stuck back then. He's still stuck back then. It's just that he doesn't really I haven't heard him bring up Skull and Bones in a long time. I haven't. In secret societies, Illuminati. There was a time where he talked a lot about that, and I have it in my notes. He used to, because he was a conspiracy theorist. That's really what he was. But it was more like back then he wasn't a quote unquote Pan Africanist. That's later on down the line. He's still not a Pan Africanist, but I'm talking about the title. He didn't call himself a Pan Africanist. That came later. But back then he was more like a conspiracy theorist that kind of appealed to the black community. So much of the stuff that he talked about coming from the conspiratorial perspective was kind of rooted in blackness and the black community and fighting against white supremacy, that type of thing. It's fascinating though, because most of the people who back then who were spearheading the conspiracy theory paradigm, they were white men. And what they perceived to be their oppressor was the government, which was also ran by white men. Anyway, I mean, it's some deep stuff. Anyway, yeah, he is. He's very much stuck in the past. But I remember I probably watched that about 50 times Fahrenheit, at least 50 times Fahrenheit 9/11, 9/11. Thank you for being a member for 4 months, Lene. Wolves of Black Wall Street says, any sign of Umar since the alleged collapse? No signs of it. Again, there are people who thought that this interview came out after. No, this interview occurred before. So no, Umar has not shown himself. He hasn't gone live. Let me see. And I remember because he was tripping. Remember the last time he went live was when he did that horrible bathroom video. That was just one of the worst things I've ever seen from him. Yeah, let me see. The last time, that video's not up here anymore. It looked like he took that video down because that was on Instagram. No, yeah, it was on Instagram. He took that video down with the toilet video. I don't see it on there anymore. Yeah, he sure did. Yep, I'm looking right now. He took that video down. There is this video. This is from October 26th. Yeah, we covered that video already, but that other one, it's not on here anymore. Yeah, but he hasn't gone live. He hasn't showed himself since the alleged fainting spell. I think so. Was Black Wall Street, but we'll see. He may do something this week, and if he does, we'll cover it. User 225 says Umar Johnson, the type of guy to play Beyonce songs in reverse. I was into that too back in the day. They called it double masking or something like that. Yeah, I used to. Yeah. Thank you, user 225. Also, you can look up bank CEO publicly. I don't know. That's just Umar. He's just talking crazy. And it's mixing and matching stuff. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. He was talking about a banking institution and comparing that to grassroots black community. It just doesn't make any sense, Umar. Thanks, user 225. Lewis Suck also says, can you imagine Umar work? Okay, I got that one earlier. Okay. Did I get I'm all cut up in here? What's up, Abdullah says, hey, Lenon, you're a fair person. Do you think if he stopped being thirsty, focused on the school, and got a team, he would be successful for real? No, I don't think so, because I think it's deeper than just the behaviors of Umar. So if he's as a behavior, if he stopped being so thirsty, because he always saying that black women are thirsty, but he's the one. He's like I don't mean to say it this way, but he's like a sex fiend. Because everything goes back to sex with this guy. Somehow he has to tie sex into everything. So yeah, if he changed that behavior, would that be enough? I don't think so. Because this is just behavior. He could still be thinking that way and have that predatory orientation towards black women, but that is and stop the behavior, but it's not going to stop the mentality. And if the mentality still exists, it's going to find some other way to express itself. That's a big problem with Umar. See, a lot of Umar and his debauchery, it's an expression of his mentality. He has no control over his mentality. He doesn't have control over his behavior either. But if somehow he was able to put some restraints on his behavior, it's not going to change the mentality. And then there will be some other way that debauchery is going to present itself as a behavior. He has to change the mentality first. If he focused on the school, let's say that Umar dropped everything and he focused on the school today, like right now, and that's all he focused on. Would it become successful? No, because financially speaking, it's just not viable. He's going to be charging children their parents $500 a month in an impoverished community, and where there's 2 other schools. One is brand new; it opened this year. It was like a STEM type of academy, and they send their children there for free. And their security, I mean, everything is up to code, all that stuff. You know, and the children their parents don't have to pay $500 a month. So even financially, FDMG as a concept, it's excuse the pun, it's bankrupt. It's not even fiscally possible for him to run a school. And then we're not even talking about faculty and staff and paying faculty and staff. Umar says he hasn't even raised $1 million. Well, since he's saying from 2014. So after 11 years, he hasn't raised $1 million. Operating costs just for 1 year is probably going to be close to $4 million. Probably more than that in this economy. But if you haven't raised $1 million in 11 years, how are you going to run 1 year at these trap bandos? You see what I'm saying? If he got a team, well, that would have to be he would have to change his mentality. He's a megalomaniac, and then he has to be open to transparency. He doesn't want that, because let's say Abdullah, if he got a team today, well, one of the things they're going to look at, it would have to be some sort of accounting that takes place. They got to look at the books to see where things are at and see where things can go and what needs to take place financially to make this work. They're going to see very quickly that something's not right with the money. The money's funny. So this is all to say that I don't think Umar would be, and again, I'm being fair here. I don't think that any change in Umar's behavior is going to make him successful on any level, whether it's a school in life, relationships, as a father. I think fundamentally Umar has to have a change in mind, in his mentality, his mind. He has to get his mind right. That's where he has to start. Yeah. He has to change his mind. And part of that is he's going to have to deal with the mental health issues, which are overwhelming. And he would have to go and get mental health services for an extended period of time to get his mind right. See, and you know this, that's a tall order for someone like Umar because of the narcissism, but he also perceives himself to be this great psychologist, even though he's not. And in his mind, he believes he's the Black Christ, even though he's not. And he's the Messiah, even though he's not. So this great psychologist, this Messiah, alleged Messiah, this alleged, I got to say it that way. This guy, he's sick. This alleged Black Christ, he's going to be humble enough to go and get psychological services for an extended period of time. He ain't going to do that. He needs to in the first place. And he changes the mentality, he can start changing the behavior for good, excuse the pun. And then once he's able to do that, there's other issues he has to deal with, substance abuse, so forth and so on. And then he can start getting things turned around in his life to where he can be successful. See? So that was always, it wasn't always, because there was a time I just couldn't stand him because of the stuff he was doing. But for a long time, my best advice for Umar was to let all this stuff go, even the internet, just get off the internet and focus on yourself. You get in to rehab, you get into detox, get into rehab, and part of that would be mental health services, and you work on this up here. And then if you do that long enough and get all that right, then you can start building a life for yourself. And then once you have the life as a foundation, then you can start thinking about opening up a school. By that, even then though, it wouldn't be viable because he could be potentially 6 years old by that time. Anyway, I can go on and on, but you notice I'm not here to say that I want anything bad to happen to Umar. What I've been telling Umar for years now is to get himself together first. That has to be the foundation if you're going to do something like open up a school. Not you open up a school, but your life, the school is the foundation, but your life is in other turmoil. Your mind is out there. You're crazy. Real talk. It just doesn't work that way. It's always from within to the external, right? Thanks, Jalil, for being a member for 3 months. And I don't know why my screen be doing this. Okay, did I get to everyone? Yeah, okay. And make sure if y'all enjoyed the show, make sure you hit that like button. Okay, did I get to everyone? Let me just make sure. Herpy, the Hotep War skit from Tariq was fun. Yeah, that was a little over the top, though, I have to say. It was a little over the top. What's up, Giannis? Giannis says African immigrants statistically make more money than Black Americans percent-wise, yet we call them tethers. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't adhere to that rhetoric. The person who's really spearheaded that is Tariq Nasheed. And again, I don't watch Tariq Nasheed. It's never my cup of tea, even back in the day. Okay. I don't abide to that rhetoric. I don't think that's going to help build anything amongst groups of people. And the thing is that I have ancestors. So some people say, well, you're biased. I have ancestors who were immigrants, right? Then I have ancestors who were slaves too. So I always joke, I say I'm part tether. Right? Anyway, thanks, Giannis. Did I get to everyone? User 55 says, as an Asian, Umar Johnson better not talk about Asians. We're consistently painted as the model minority. We face issues he knows nothing about. Stop it, Umar. Yeah, all groups of people do. All groups of people face issues. Umar, I think what Umar tends to do, again, with Umar is always about painting Black people as a perpetual victim, where in point of fact, we're not. You know, some of us are successful and on different levels. Some of us are not as successful. Some of us, you know, it's not a monolith. And the same thing applies to other groups of people. Same thing applies. I think it's easier to kind of formulate this notion that you can put a whole group of people in a box. Well, that's what people who created this concept of race, that's what they were attempting to do. I just don't abide to that. I just don't. There was a time when I did, though, when I was in my quote unquote Black conscious days. You know, you mature and you grow and you develop more wisdom and you realize that you can't put any group of people into one box. It's just not, it's impossible. Okay. The complexities of life itself doesn't allow for that. And we're Black people, we're a diverse group of people, Asian people, diverse. See that? It's a trip. We say Black people, but then we say Asians. There was a time where Asians were yellow. But now that's offensive, but we're still Black. Anyway, thanks, User 225. Okay, and then Corruption Point says, notice how Umar paints every racial group as functional except us. I was just saying that. He wants us to have an antagonistic, wants us to have be antagonistic with other races. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's what I was just saying. It's as if Black people are the perpetual victims, but everyone else, they're fine. And so it's us against them. That's one of the big issues. I think if you're going to build anything, you have to build bridges too. And whether that is within your group or, you know, to other groups, you're going to have to build bridges. And the more bridges you can build, the more bridges you can build, the more efficient you can actually build. That makes sense. Okay. But this is a really good point. Okay. And real quick, the other issue is that he paints Black people as non-functional consistently. Well, like I said in the beginning of this, when we first started playing this video, I can tell Umar's in that mindset of disparaging Black people. That's disparaging towards Black people. Again, is that uplifting towards Black people? No. To say that, you know, put us all in the box, say we're all dysfunctional? No. But that's Umar. Now, if a white person says something like that, they're a racist. Umar gets a pass. All right, let's get going here because we got to get. I don't even think we're gonna do it, but we got to at least get through most of this. Goodness.
Latino is the appropriate term. The U.S. government invented the term Hispanic in the 1970s because Spanish-speaking Africans from Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and other Spanish-speaking Central, South American, and Caribbean countries, islands, came to America and would call themselves white. And so America ran into an issue of census counting because you got all these Black people who speak Spanish, who don't want to be lumped in with the American African, calling themselves white. And so, you know, for the white man, whiteness is a privilege. And you have to be Caucasian to enjoy that. So they came up with the term Hispanics, basically was a compromise with Spanish-speaking Black people. We're not going to force you to identify with who you are, right? But you can't call yourself white anymore. So here you go, Hispanic. What do you have in America right now? You have American Africans who look as Nigerian, Ghanaian, Liberian, Gambian, Togolese as you and I, who are telling you not only are they not from Africa.
What you talking about? Look what. Listen, I just have to. Most African Americans don't look African, and you can pick any country in Africa. Like I said, I got a great grandfather who came from Africa. Most African Americans don't look like they're from a country in Africa. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That not a single ancestor is from Africa, that they originated in the United States, despite there being no proof of America being a cradle of human civilization. They will argue you down that I was always in America and did not get here from Africa, right? If you look at our Black philosophical ideologies, right? Respect to them all. But the Moorish science temples, they don't identify as African. The Nation of Islam.
See, this is all disrespect to the Moorish the Science Temple of America. This is a shot at Nation of Islam.
They don't identify as African. The 5% nation of gods and earths.
Here we go. Listen, I don't identify as African either. If you want to call me African American, that's fine. You can call me whatever you want to. I really don't give a shit. But I'm not from Africa. I don't know no African. I don't know no African language. I don't know. And that's okay.
They don't identify as African. I love and respect them all, but they don't identify as African. So you just
You know what I think with Umar, part of it is the romanticization of Africa, but then also to see black people as lesser. So therefore you're lesser because you identify as black or African American, but you're greater if you identify simply as African. That's what where Umar's coming from. But really what this shows is that Umar, how he sees black people or African Americans is in a lowly relative to quote unquote Africans. Even though I guarantee you that if Umar went over to Africa and anywhere in Africa, any country in Africa, and they didn't know who he was, they wouldn't perceive him to be African. Real talk.
have to look at our history and how black people, for opportunity, fear, self-hatred, political expediency, opportunism, chose to disidentify from being African. My point is, if you add everybody into the pie, we clearly outnumber the other groups. The problem is you got so many different groups of African people who don't want to be African that it makes your numbers look.
You see how ridiculous it is? You have so many different groups of African people who don't want to be African. More cut it out.
Than what they are. Let me give you a quick comparison. In the year 2000, the United States government added a new census category, biracial. Before that, you was either black or white.
Wow. Yeah.
There was no biracial.
Yeah.
They added biracial. Why? Because the popularity, well, they knew Barack Obama was coming soon. He was mixed
There you
race.
go.
So they would use Obama's presidency to fan the flame.
Umar, African Americans are mixed race, based upon what you're saying anyway. Okay, I don't even adhere to the concept there. It's a social construct, not a scientific fact. Scientists don't even talk that way. That's them colonialist, European racists. They came up with that shit. And Umar, he's supposed to be some great Pan Africanist, but he still holds on to it. But let's go there. If any of you all go and do a DNA test, you African American, is it just going to say Africa? or just countries in Africa? No. And Umar, you don't need to talk, homeboy, because your grandpapa Cicero came from Cuba, and he classified himself as a white Cuban, homeboy. That's why your daddy looked the way he looked. That's why you look the way you look. Real talk. And let's not even get to Frederick Douglass. You ain't related anyway, but we ain't gonna get into that right now. Yeah, he's overcompensating for being 1/4 white Cuban. Umar, you're 1/4 white Cuban. Oh well, it's no big deal. I don't really get whatever. Umar, you're whiter than me. Real talk. Listen, I did my genealogy. We ain't got a lot of white in my bloodline, and it don't make me no difference because even if we had them, it don't make me no difference. We ain't got a lot of it. But Umar, just based on that alone, you're whiter than I am. So congratulations, sir. But yeah, he's overcompensating. I have a video where Umar, he says that his grandpa Cicero, his Cuban ancestor, was an Afro-Cuban. That's not what the paperwork say, Umar. And I've seen pictures of Cicero's, I'll just say it this way, Cicero, Umar's grandmama on that side. You tripping, homeboy. Afro-Cuban? Listen, it don't make me no difference. But yeah, Umar, he's overcompensating. He wanted to be so African. Umar, cut it out. Thanks, lady, for super chat. Tamika says, where does he get any of these facts? He just makes them up. He does. He does a lot of. He just off the top of his head, he just makes things up. Like he was saying, black people, we use 91% of, what did he say? 91% of beauty products in the United States of America. We buy 91%. Come on, it's ridiculous. But he that's what I'm saying. He's a professional bullshitter. He just makes up stuff. Thanks, Tamika. What's up with the information man? Information man says African is more than skin color. It's your cultural. It's your cultural culture you grow up in. Therefore, I'm not African. My ancestors by cultural was Umar just talks. Yeah, yeah. If you were raised in this country, it is extremely unlikely that you were raised in African culture. And see, even when I'm saying that, it doesn't speak to the complexities and the diversity of culture in Africa. Most people don't even realize how huge Africa is. But then you have different countries in Africa. Africa is not a country, so there's not just one culture. Okay, you have all these different countries in Africa, and then even within these countries, you have different tribes, different bloodlines, so forth, different cultural practices, all the way across the board. So it's beyond conception for us over here in the United States of America to be able to determine, okay, how many cultures or different cultures are in Africa with all these different countries, with all these different tribes that go back thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of years. We can't conceptualize that. So what Umar does, he just reduces it down to one thing. You're either African or you're not. But you're right. It's cultural. Okay? And it's not even a title. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. People in Africa, if you just call them Africa, some of them they wouldn't mind, but a lot of them they would be offended by it. Why? Because that's not what they call themselves. They'll be from a certain country, so there's that identity, but then there'll be certain tribe. There's that identity too. But Umar wants to make it's all Africa, all y'all African. No, we Crenshaw Mafia, real talk. I'm just playing. Yeah, this is a great point. And listen, if a person wants to identify as an African, I don't have a problem with it. It don't make me no difference. You do identify however you want to. But the fact that Umar tries to impose a group identity onto African Americans or Black people, whatever y'all want to call yourself, whatever I want to call myself. I'll think about calling myself let me stop. I was about to say something real inappropriate. I ain't gonna do that. Regardless of what you want to call yourself, for Umar to think that he can impose this group identity, it's just crazy. It's part of Umar's megalomania. Anyway, shout out information, man. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Salute. Okay, let's get back to the user 225 says Umar Johnson is as African as Tony Soprano is. What are you talking about? Umar Johnson is as African as Tony Soprano is Italian. Okay. And then Catavet says truth and accuracy are not hallmarks of Umi's life. You're right. Just brilliant hypocrisy and dazzling his followers with bullshit. Just crazy talk. Yeah. I mean, if you really reduce everything down to one thing, I think Umar, it's just crazy talk. But he's good at it. He's really good at it. It's entertaining too. I also think that it feeds into a lot of the victimization or victimhood mentality that's present in some people, Black people up over here in the United States of America. I think it feeds, but not even just in the United States of America, all over the world though too, because there's people in Europe that buying into this bullshit. I think it feeds into that too. But basically, he's a professional shit talker. That's what Umar is. And you notice he doesn't give any. I mean, I'm not saying that everything he says is not true. That's not what I'm saying. But if you listen to Umar, he speaks as if everything he says is true. But most of what he says, it's not fact-based. It's not. Right? It's just him coming up with shit on the spot, and he just regurgitates it at a certain point, and people believe it. At least some people believe in it. Right? But you're right. There's truth and accuracy are not hallmarks of Umi's life. You're absolutely right about that. I think he lies to himself about his life. He does. He lies about, he says he's a school psychologist. No, he's not. He's been homeless since 2019. How are you a school psychologist and you homeless? Where do they, anyway, I can go on. Well, all right, thanks, Contavet. All right, let's get back to the video, everyone. Real quick, we do have a poll. We have over 2,194 votes. Is FDMG coming in 2025? 9% said yes, 91% said no. We're going to go for 40 more minutes, y'all. We probably won't get through this video, but that's okay. We have over 880 likes. If at any point you're enjoying the show, go and hit that like button. It takes about 2 seconds, but it makes a huge difference in the algorithms. If you guys look at the numbers over the last week or two, and then you look at the likes, that has a huge impact on these videos getting out into the algorithm. So thank y'all so much, everyone who hit that like button. All the rest of y'all haters, but I love you anyway. Let's go.
Of mixed race pride. And so all self-hating American Africans who didn't want to be called African can now say I'm biracial. Wow.
Listen, if we want to use the term biracial, all of us are. All of us. Crystal, yeah, you, Afro-punk chick, lovely Elizabeth, Poo-Poo Sabox, Black Wolf, Afro-punk chick, Simply Complicated, Stoic 1DER, boy, I'm good, boy. Ryan McDonald. I don't know what I saw. I was like, what is it? Maddie? And there's nothing wrong with that. Ginger Spice, ain't nothing wrong with that. Cadolo, Manny Ben Rock, Jamal Johnson. I was just playing. He got off the internet. I think he got off for two reasons. I think 2 reasons. His granddaughter went in on him. He just got off. But then also he got on this one guy's show. This was before though, but he was talking about keep my family out your mouth, LenonHonor. You the one that was bugging me all the time, sending me messages on Facebook, on emailing me, posting comments. Just weirdo, bugaboo, posting comments on my YouTube page. Mr. Jamal, he needs to cut it out. So anyway, see, he's used to bullying people. He's the bully Umar, but it don't work with me. I ain't gonna get punked by no man. I don't care how old you are. It don't make me no difference. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. You ain't gonna punk me. And then the guy that he was on his YouTube page, that guy, he got 9 count felonies right now. He's facing for aggravated identity theft and healthcare fraud, some kind of healthcare fraud, whatever it's called. I can't remember, but I remember he used to say the guy that he went on, he used to lie about me, my wife, and my kids for a long time. I mean, for years. I mean, it was like 5, 6 years, something like that. And he used to make up all kinds of lies. He was saying that my wife and I, we were committing healthcare fraud. And while he was saying that, what was he involved with? And look at him now. See, he might be going to prison at a bare minimum 2 years and is fed. He ain't gonna do well up in there. If he better cop that plea. One by one. See? He gonna get out walking funny. Let's go.
Multiracial. Mind you, you have mixed race Africans on the plantation. Yeah. My grandfather Stephen, his cousin Frederick Douglass were both of their mothers. My auntie and grandmother were raped by the slave master.
Here we go. First of all, there is no proof that cousin Stephen was actually related to Frederick Douglass. That has never been proven. The genealogists for the Frederick Douglass true bloodline, they haven't even proved that to be true. And that's why when Umar Johnson's daddy, Jamal Bugaboo Johnson, when he took that DNA test, it came back that there is no genetic relationship between Umar, his daddy, Jamal Bugaboo Johnson, and Frederick Douglass. But Umar's still running with the lie. I can pull up the receipt and show it to y'all. Umar's still running with the lie in 2025.
There was mixed race. Nobody called him biracial. Yeah. Nobody called him mixed race. And even though they used pejorative terms like mulatto.
Yeah, but they didn't have that terminology back then, Umar.
Mulatto, you were still considered part of the African population and part of the slave population. So why? After 246 years of slavery in America, another 100 years of Jim Crow, another 50 years of apartheid, all of a sudden the government now says if you got white in you, call yourself biracial. Yeah. America will be 250 years old next year. Yeah. Why are you just now coming up with a biracial category? To make it look like there's...
No, let's be clear about this. If someone wants to classify themselves as biracial, they have every right to do so. I wouldn't, but they have a right to do that. See, the terminology has changed because society has changed. Science has changed. Understand that the idea of black race, white race, yellow race, red race, and brown race, that's some antiquated bullshit. The people who came up with that, they didn't even know anything about genetics. I mean, what I mean, they didn't know nothing about no DNA and passing on half from the mama, half from the, they didn't know nothing about that. But Umar, you still want to hold on to even African. If you guys, boy, I'm going to tell y'all something. If you guys go back far enough and do enough research, even the idea of an African race, there was a guy, I can't remember his name. It wasn't Bloomberg. It was one of his predecessors, I believe. They was calling people from anyone from Africa, they would call them Ethiopians. Times change. Science changes. People's understanding and awareness and knowledge, you know, we have more knowledge now. But see, isn't it interesting that Umar still wants to hold on to certain things where, in point of fact, I mean, Umar, if you want to complain about people calling themselves biracial, well, then can't people complain about you calling yourself African when you're not? You ain't African. Cut it out.
Less blacks than there really is on paper. They're reducing us on paper. Since y'all hate yourself and want to call yourself.
See, everything is negative. But let's be clear about this. He contradicted himself, because even if a person declassifies himself as straight black on paper, it doesn't mean that society is going to treat them any differently. Because if that was the fucking case, then we can all put down white or biracial, because we all biracial. Y'all see my point? And let's go here for a moment. You know, it's fascinating because if, let's say, a person who was born male can call themselves a woman, then I should be able to, who was born quote unquote black, I should be able to call myself white. I'm just going here for a moment. And then automatically I should receive all of the privileges of a white man, But is that how it works? No, that's not how it works. You can say, talk whatever you want to on paper, but that doesn't mean that society's going to see you for what you want to classify yourself as. I can go on, but I'm leaving right there.
Mixed race and biracial, instead of it being 50 million Africans in America, it looks closer to 30.
And so
they're redefining us out of existence.
And so do you think?
No. You still exist in society. You're still going to be perceived as white. Now, there could be an argument made in terms of the social implications as it relates to certain governmental privileges, or how can I say this? Like grants and that type of thing that can be impacted by the numbers. Right? Now, I understand what he's saying, but at the end of the day, when it comes to your quote unquote Africanness, Umar, or your blackness, it's not going to make a difference in society in the real world in terms of how people treat you. Because it's not like they're going to say, well, let me see what did you put on the census? Oh, you said you're biracial? Okay, I'm going to treat you as biracial. I ain't going to treat you as you're black. It doesn't work that way. Anyway.
It has a lot to do with, population control, because when I think about, I saw something that said that the net worth of the black community will be 0 by 2056, right? Mm-hmm. And when I hear that, I know that I'm surrounded around a lot of, specifically here in Atlanta, people that are getting to it, right? Mm-hmm. Becoming millionaires and getting, learning how to build wealth and, controlling that. So on one hand, we're hearing this narrative around, the power structure and population control, even COVID being taught or thought to be
a population control weapon.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that, like the population control and why are as part of this narrative around our net worth being 0, part of a control thing to make us feel inferior so we won't continue to thrive as a people?
It is part of a control thing, but it is also partly the truth. One of the reasons why every group in America can outdistance themselves economically and politically over black people, although we've been here longer, and despite the aggressive systemic racism that has been put up against us, despite the racism, because that is the big reason. Nobody catches the hell American Africans catch, because we're the only non-white people who cannot be deported. You can deport Chinese. You can strip the citizenship of an Arab or an East Indian if they want to get political and get out of line.
What are you talking about? Umar, you talking, boy, this guy, he talking crazy.
Give you, I can take back. Your naturalization is not permanent. You see that? I can send a Latino back to a Latin-speaking country. I can get rid of everyone in America except the black man, because his enslavement, through his enslavement, I destroyed his natural, spiritual, and cultural connection to his land of ancestry. So what do you do with 50 million people you don't want and can't deport? You have to create systems of marginalization and elimination. COVID was...
Did he say Latin-speaking country? I didn't even catch that. Hit the one. Did he say Latin-speaking country? Umar, you tripping. Latinos don't even speak Latin. They be speaking España. They do the Spanish family. Latin? Did he say that? No, he didn't. He did not say that. Let me go back. Umar, you tripping. Listen, in all fairness, I had to fix it with the camera because it widened the angle and you guys can see it's some boxes of trash. It's not trash, it's just empty boxes over there. And I was like, damn, I'm looking like Umar. It's because my wife, she cleaned out the pantry and she put all the boxes right there of stuff that needs to be put in the recycle. And I haven't had time to go put it out. That's why I said, let me fix this camera. Start looking like Umar. I'm gonna flip that phone, boy. It's gonna be filled. All right, let me see what he said right here. Here we go.
Man, because his enslavement, through his enslavement, I destroyed his natural, spiritual, and cultural connection to his land of ancestry. So what do you do with 50 million people you don't want and can't deport? You have to create systems of marginalization and elimination. COVID was a big part of that. But more specifically, COVID was about getting rid of as many elderly people.
Here you go. I don't miss the part. Hold on.
Fight the aggressive systemic racism that has been put up against us, despite the racism.
Getting, learning how to build, why are it's part of this.
Nobody catches the hell American Africans catch, because we're the only non-white people who cannot be deported.
No, you gotta say Lenor. Say Lenor Hoarder. Well, that's funny, boy. Here we go.
You can deport Chinese. You can strip the citizenship of an Arab or an East Indian if they want to get political and get out of line. What I give you, I can take back. Your naturalization is not permanent. You see that? I can send a Latino back to a Latin-speaking country.
This guy. Listen, I don't even think there's a such thing as a Latin. I mean, I'm sure that there's like 500 people on the planet that still speak Latin. It's about 12 people. There are some countries, so there's no modern country has Latin as a regular spoken language, Umar. Though Vatican City is the only one that officially lists it primarily for religious purposes. When people ask about Latin-speaking countries, they are usually referring to countries where a Romance language, a direct descendant of Latin, is spoken. That's what I'm saying. Umar, you goofy. Now, what he should have said is a Spanish-speaking country. But we'll just keep going. Here we go.
Can get rid of everyone in America except the black man, because his enslavement, through his enslavement, I destroyed.
What in the world? 2 + 2 = banana pudding. This chat room is crazy. What in the world does that mean? 2 + 2 = banana pudding.
Destroyed his natural, spiritual, and cultural connection to his land of ancestry. So what do you do with 50 million people you don't want and can't deport? You have to create systems of marginalization and elimination. COVID was a big part of that. But more specifically, COVID was about getting...
What in the world is a Mayan bunny? Okay, let me get out this chat room.
Rid of as many elderly people, regardless of race, but specifically black people, because they don't want to use that money to provide Social Security for all them elders. Remember, in a...
What are you talking about, Umar? COVID was specifically for the black people so that they wouldn't get the Social Security, for the Social Security to get the potato? What are you talking about? Umar, you tripping, man. Come on, cut it out. They needed to get the baby oil to rub on their chest. Umar, you funny, boy. You so funny. He tripping. He said, and they want to get the money for the... And that's why COVID was invented, to get the black people, the elders, because they want the Social Security so they can get some ham hocks and chicken wings. All right, Umar. He just be, boy, he can keep going.
Capitalist economic system. And I want to be clear. Capitalism is not commerce. Too many African people, and this is a conversation we have in the revolutionary sector with the...
Okay, we need 50 more likes to get to 1,000. Let's make it happen, family. Here we go.
Socialists, the nationalists, the Pan Africanists, etc. They believe if you're selling something, you're a capitalist. If you pull out some shea butter right now, say, Dr. Umar, I made this for $2.50, but I'm gonna sell it to you for $10. That's not capitalism. That's commerce. We have always engaged.
I made this for $2.50 and I'm gonna sell it to you for $10. What are you talking about? Shea butter?
In business, in trade, in commerce. But you got black people who are so degenerate in their thinking, anytime you sell something.
Said Faison is listening well. Don't do this guy like that. He do look like Faison Lode. I ain't gonna lie. Thanks, Dreezy, drummer Dre. Now y'all hear how Umar is disparaging black people again? Listen.
The nationalists, the Pan Africanists, etc. They believe if you're selling something, you're a capitalist. If you pull out some shea butter right now, say, Dr. Umar, I made this for $2.50, but I'm gonna sell it to you for $10. That's not capitalism.
What is that supposed to be? I made it for $2.50. I'm gonna sell it to you for $10.
That's commerce. We have always engaged in business, in trade, in commerce. But you got black people who are so degenerate in their thinking.
See that? Always talking shit about black people. Always. 2 × 2 = toaster strudel.
Anytime you sell,
I used to love toaster
profit.
I used to love toaster strudels back in the day. I used to love me some toaster strudels. Smoke Jones Music says he talks like the jailbird. Yeah, someone brought this up earlier. Oswald Bates. You're right. He talks like the jailbird on In Living Color. The spiritude of my incarceration family has industrialized by the Blackwood-facing psychosis of the intercontinentalization family of the shea butter that was inserted. It was inserted into the structural ability of the African of FDMG to get the foundation and the institutionalization of the mimicry family so that the tentacles could pass within the structuralization of the butter biscuits. That's Umar. He's a professional shit talk. Now, real talk, I could probably do that. It wouldn't make sense though. But see, Umar has a gift. He can do that, and then people are like, This shit sounds real. This sounds believable. That's Umar's gift. He's a professional shit talker. Oswald Bates. Someone brought this up earlier. You're absolutely right about this. And that's what I'm saying. When we want to see Umar videos, and this video in particular, already knew where he was in that mindset of a professional bullshitter. He sounds just like Oswald Bates from Living Color. Thank you, Smoke Jones Music. Well, Miss Vernica says, "Hey, Lenon, salute." I would say Miss Vernica, baby, but I ain't gonna do that last time. It just sounded, you know what I'm saying. Thanks for tuning on in. Did I get to all the super chats? Oh no! Wait a minute. A lady says, "Umar, your net worth is less than zero because of you." Ain't got nothing to do with white people, and ain't got nothing to do with white supremacy, and ain't got nothing to do with. All right. Thanks, lady. Your kids will see it says, "It irks me when Umar says, let me be clear, because he is as clear as much." Yeah, I know. He says stuff like that, but that's more rhetorical. If we listen to Umar, you know, really what should happen is when Umar's talking like this, for it to be put down on paper or in a book or in a PDF, and then people read through it in that format. So you don't hear his voice, you don't hear him, none of that. You don't see his gestures. You just read what he said. And people realize real quick, this guy, he's batshit crazy. He is. Umar's batshit crazy. It's a gift, but real talk, I mean, you really have to be out. Anyway, let's get going here. I thank your kids will see it for being a member for 21 months. Here we go.
That's capitalism. Black people were selling for a profit before white people came out the caves of Europe. That's not capitalism. Is the deliberate domination of the means of production. I want to control the land, the resources in it, and all the institutions to make sure you can't get anything for yourself. So you're completely dependent on me, which allows me to raise the interest rate and the cost of the product or service to the point where you can't afford it, which ultimately means you're going to die a slow and painful economic death.
What are you talking about, Umar? He just be making Oswald Bases making up.
Capitalism is about the destruction of a people. It is not simply charging a fee for a service or a product. Because you get people say, well, can we use capitalism in America in order to empower ourselves? First of all, you live in a capitalist economy. There is no way on hell you're going to empower yourself in a capitalist economy without participating in that economy. You don't have to be capitalist. Just engage in your commerce. You're not seeking to exploit nobody. You're not seeking to deny nobody. You're not seeking to usurp everything necessary in order for me to be economically independent. That's what capitalism is. It cuts off every avenue for you to do for yourself and only leaves the high price seller of the goods for you to buy from. That's capitalism. That is not commerce. Now, getting back to this, with the COVID, they wanted to get rid of all the old people to reduce dependency on Social Security, because under capitalism, you are only
There were young people who passed from COVID too. Umar, what are you talking about?
useful. If you can work for me, exploit your labor, or you can buy from me, exploit your wealth. If you cannot work for me, and if you don't buy from me, you're useless. So what is the one population in any society who no longer works and no longer needs to buy much? Old people. So
you, Umar, you.
So from the white man's philosophy, we better off without them. And that's why Italy got hit worse with COVID than any European country, because Italy has the largest amount of old white people. Now,
so because older people were more susceptible, then there's a conspiracy. They were more susceptible to COVID, to passing away from COVID. Then there was a conspiracy that COVID was produced and created to kill older people. It wasn't just old people that passed from COVID, Umar. Even still, boy, he listen, he is. Listen, Umar's batshit crazy. And he just throws it out there. And the guy over there, yeah. Yeah, Umar, you old too. What you talking about? Let me stop. Let's keep going. Here we go.
Now, I'm happy. I'm very proud of Africa because during the COVID crisis, many African leaders stood up and refused to either test or inoculate their people. In fact, I am of the opinion that President John Magufuli of Tanzania was assassinated because he refused to vaccinate.
Here he go. Lene says, Umar likes interviews that will just let him talk. Yeah, that's one of those. You can tell. Lenon has to do the video with the black lady that was saying she was a life 9. Oh, I don't even know what you're talking about, Lene. What in the world? That was saying she was a life 9. Yeah, I don't know what that is. But this is one of those interviews. He just running his mouth. Now he's saying that because the people that decided not to take the vaccination or the shot for COVID, that they were assassinated for that. Information man, did I ever take that? Oh, no, did he? No, I never took it because I remember at that job they were trying to force us to do it, but no, we didn't have to. We were forced to wear masks, though. That was mandatory. Anyway, Information man says the top 5 comorbidities. I don't even know what that means. Let me go look it up. Comorbidities. Comorbidity. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. And the definition is the simultaneous presence of 2 or more diseases or medical conditions in a patient. Okay, a disease or medical condition that is simultaneously present with another or others in a patient. Okay, so hypertension 21.1%, diabetes 16.2%, moderate to severe renal disease 10.6%, congestive heart failure 9.2%, and cerebrovascular disease 9.1%. Okay, anytime I see percentages and figures, I always got to look and see. All right, thank you for the education, sir. So comorbidity, all right, it means the simultaneous presence of 2 or more diseases or medical conditions in a patient. Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, I had no idea. Shout out to Information man. And then Ajalil says, what do you think Umar would do or say if 91% of the African countries rejected him? What would be his go-to? What would his go-to be then? Well, that's a crazy hypothetical. Let's say that 91% of the African countries, he will probably start talking shit about those 91%. He would talk shit about them. Either that, or he'll come up with something else to try to identify himself as. I have a sense that Umar, his identity, his self-identity is just dependent on other factors other than anything internal. So let me explain what I mean by this. Being related, allegedly, he's not. So being falsely related to Frederick Douglass is a big part of Umar's identity. He was told that at a very young age. It made him feel, and I have a video where he talks about this, it made him feel important. It made him feel as if he had a purpose. So his identity is largely tied to that lie, not the reality. The reality is he's not related, but it's always something external that Umar attaches himself to that he seeks to identify with or as, that gives him some sort of validity in his life. So the same thing applies to this idea that he's African. Africa is a continent, a huge continent. But you don't see Umar saying that I'm part of this tribe in Africa, in this country in Africa. You don't hear him saying that. But see, I think it's easier for Umar to just group everything into this whole monolith that he calls Africa because it makes him feel even more empowered because Africa is it's all Africa. I'm African. See, but it's always something external of him. So if for instance, well, I would say that if when the Frederick Douglass family came out and they issued a statement, even though Umar lied and said they never did, he lied about that. They did. It was on their website. I have a screenshot of it and everything. And they stated emphatically that Umar was not related to them, that no blood relationship whatsoever. Then his daddy takes a DNA test and proves that they're not related to Frederick Douglass. Genetically, blood, nothing, no relationship whatsoever. But Umar still runs with a lie. Why does he run with a lie? Because it's part of his identity. It's a lie, but it's all external. Part of it is that Umar does not want to identify with what he truly is. I'm talking about his real life. When he wakes up in the morning, before he gets online, before he starts pretending as if he's something that he's not, he doesn't want to grapple with that. He's basically a bum from Philly who panhandles online, but if he didn't have access to the internet, he'll be out there on the corner panhandling. Real talk. So the point that I'm getting at is that when the Frederick Douglass family comes out and issues a statement about Umar not being related, Umar starts to attack the family and the family members. Y'all remember this? So I would think that Umar, who is a creature of habit, if let's say hypothetically 91% of African countries says, listen, you ain't got nothing to do with us, you ain't African, blah, blah, blah. Or if they said you're not Nigerian, you're not whatever, right? You're whatever. That Umar would probably start to attack those countries and say horrible things about those countries, just like he did about the family members of Frederick Douglass, the real family members, the true descendants of Frederick Douglass. That's what I think he would do. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting hypothetical, though. Okay. Thank you, Ajalil. And the correction point says everything revolves around white people. Can we ever escape these types? Listen, the reason why Umar is always talking about white in this context is because it's about putting black people in a subservient position. We talked about it earlier, to make black people feel as if you're perpetual victims in everything and in all ways, and that you don't have any type of recourse, and that you can't change things for the better for yourself. And then Umar, he is the solution. That's why we listen to this video. You can see consistently Umar's demeaning black people, but that is to put black people who are listening into a subservient position. And we have this thing as black people, and I'm not saying everyone does, but we have this thing where for some reason, when we hear someone demeaning black people, we say to ourselves, they're not talking about me, but they are talking about you. At least from their vantage point, they're talking about you. But then we say, oh, well, they're not really talking about me. They're talking about those other black people. You know, it's like back in the day with the videos that calling women bitches and hoes. That's black women like, oh, well, they're not talking about me. No, they are talking about you. All y'all. But for some reason, it's more convenient to say, oh, well, you know, they're not talking about me and they're not demeaning me. Well, same thing applies with Umar, with this rhetoric. It's always about subjugating black people, making black people feel as if they're inferior, even though it's supposed to be black power, it's supposed to be empowering. Nothing that Umar says is empowering. Free Thinker Podcast Episode 1. I don't even know what that is. Let me go see if I can find it. Let me play some more of this video because we're only going to go for another 10 minutes here, but we'll come back and get into more of this video tomorrow. So that'll be I'll just name it part 2. Let me go look this up, Lenon.
Also believe the late president of Haiti was assassinated because he refused to vaccinate. Africa stood up. Now, unfortunately, countries like South Africa.
Is there any proof of that, Umar?
Africa, right? That I love very much. My last time on the continent was South Africa. I was disappointed that the government still went ahead and started immunizing the people, because you saw what John Magufuli did. He tested an animal, a plant, and a piece of fruit with the COVID test. And I think 2 out of the 3 came back positive. He said, how in the hell can a piece of fruit have COVID? How can a plant have COVID? He was proving that the test was played with. The test was a scam to make you think you have the disease so they can vaccinate you. And all they was going to do was push you with poison to get rid of you. Now, the last point on that gentrification question you asked, there's 2 documents that every African should read on planet Earth if you're concerned about population control. 2 documents. Number 1, Global 2000. Global 2000 was put out in December of 1974, I believe the date was.
Oh, okay. So Free Thinker Podcast, I have this downloaded, but I don't remember us covering this. Yeah, you guys might let me pull it up, and you guys tell. I don't think we ever covered it. Maybe we did. Let me go pull it up. Hold on. Thanks for letting me know, Lenon. Hold on one second.
Kissinger, who's a descendant of Jews who came from the Holocaust, and he helped create the Rockefeller Trilateral Commission, right?
Yeah,
Kissinger, who became Secretary of State. He was Secretary of State.
Yeah. So I was talking about this earlier. I don't know if I mentioned the Trilateral Commission, but Kissinger, as soon as Umar said that, this is antiquated stuff from the conspiracy theory days. The Trilateral Commission, that was a huge part of the rhetoric and the conspiracy theory paradigm from people like David Icke and Alex Jones. So that's where Umar, he's kind of flipping back into that mode. He's kind of all over the place with this.
For the United States in 74, he put out National Security Study Memorandum 200, not Global 2000 yet. National Security Study Memorandum 200, December 74. This is the first time that a modern government undertook an investigation into population growth and trends for the entire planet. And out of this study, it's online, you can read it, he said that the United States government must take a lead role in controlling population growth. And in that, he targeted 13 countries, several of which were African. And almost every country that he targeted, they wound up with a serious LGBTQ movement. The LGBT is not about same-sex freedom. It's about the reduction of black population because two men can't reproduce.
Here you go. This guy.
Two women can't reproduce. And what just came out of the...
Meanwhile, Umar, you done created baby mamas, at least 3 of them in Philly.
Was it the American Medical Association or the Center for Disease Control? They said for the first time in modern history, teenage pregnancy is down in the United States, but they don't know why. We know why, because you have lesbianized our girls.
Umar, you be talking so crazy. You have lesbian. Who talks like that? You're so stupid. I already told my kids, I said, whatever. If you gay, you're gay. If you're lesbian, you're lesbian. If you bi, you're bi. Whatever else, because there's all kind of stuff that I don't understand these days. I said, I'm going to love you no matter what, and I'm going to be here for you. See, Umar act like lesbianism is something new. Umar, you goofy. Or being gay is new. That's not anything new. What are you talking about? You mean to tell me like 4,000 years ago, 2 women didn't get to, come on, cut it out. That woman looked at the other woman. She's like, you looking good. Shit. Girl, you looking. I understand. I understand, family. All right. Let me stop. I should do that. But it ain't nothing new. Now the men thing, that's new. That. Yeah, that started in the 80s. Yeah, about the 80s. But the lesbian, hey, we okay with that. Everything's fine on that one. All right, let me stop playing. Yeah, no diddy. All right, here we go.
Homosexualized our boys against reproduction.
You shouldn't be talking about reproduction because you done created all these baby mamas. Don't even take care of your kids. You're big. Let me stop.
Remember, the pushers of LGBT culture are not LGBT folks. They're heterosexuals. Why are heterosexuals pushing LGBT? Because it's a very effective population control strategy. It does what the birth control pill and abortion cannot do, and that is convince the kids to never touch each other.
Do you?
Umar, well, this guy, he's boy, I'm telling you right now. Yeah, Thumbelina. Yeah, you should be talking. Listen, Thumbelina, you ain't got no business talking, okay? Don't make me get Lene on here to retell that story, okay? And you need to watch yourself, Umar, because I know what was on that one of them videos. That's why you paid out that $68,000. You better cut it out. Okay, Sweet Pea. I'm just playing. I ain't gonna do him like that. Anyway, this is the video Lene was talking about, and I don't remember us covering this. Y'all let me know if you guys remember us covering it.
Right? Parents in New Jersey, Newark, Patterson.
Yeah, I know we didn't cover this because he looked crazy. He right away, he looked crazy. You guys remember covering this?
We wait till the child catch the cold, then we dress them well. We wait.
Yeah, we didn't cover because he looked crazy. Yeah, so I'm gonna write this one down. We'll come to it because I'm not sure what Lene what she was saying. Yeah, I don't remember covering this, but let me see. Lene said, so Free Thinkers Podcast, episode 1, and then she said, it's a good one to go over one day when you have time. It's someone that gave pushback, and he looks like on there because she has her own. Oh, so this was someone where the lady was kind of going back at Umar. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I'm gonna already have it downloaded. But what we'll do is that if we run out of, because we still got, there's this video that we really, and we really didn't make much progress today. We got to close this out. We still got about 1,700 people in the building. What we'll do is tomorrow, I'll try my best to finish up. It's a long interview. I didn't know it was this long. We'll try our best to get through most of it. And then if we run, because we still got to get to another video where Umar was on like a game show where it was interracial relations, something like that. Someone told me to check that one out. We'll cover that one too. So we got that one. I just wrote this one down, Free Thinkers Podcast, episode 1. And so we'll fit all this in over the next 2 weeks. Okay, so this one, we got to finish this one. Phase on Love. I'm sorry, that's the way I remember it. Phase on Love. And then we still got to do the interracial. It was like some sort of a game show. We got to do that. I was planning on doing it. And then there's some pictures too. I want to get to some that Umar posted on his Instagram page that I want to get to at some point, including some doors he got put up, some new doors for the bathrooms. So it's someone that gave pushback, and he looks like on there because she has her own brain. You probably say he looked crazy on there because he do look crazy. I saw right away. Look at him. Yeah, I could tell right away. And this is from, let's see the date. This is from 2023, December of 2023. So about 2 years ago. Okay, yeah, thank you for bringing this up. We'll take some time to watch it. I don't remember us actually watching this, so we'll get to that one for sure. Thank you, Lenny, for the super chat as well. Giannis says he doesn't even take care of his own kids. Not one time he said anything about raising his own kids. Yeah. He always talking, this could be him overcompensating too for his own failures. They're trying to stop. I don't get that. Umar, you tripping, man. You really tripping on this. It's population control. He's been talking like that for a long time. The LGBT is about population, but lesbian, gay people, they've been around a long time, Umar. Now, there's other stuff now too that when I was growing up, that it didn't exist, or at least the terminology didn't exist. Because when I was growing up, it was just like, okay, that he's gay, and we didn't even say, did we say lesbian? I don't even think we didn't really say lesbian back in the day. We would say, what did we used to say? I don't even remember. But the point is, nowadays it's a lot more complex. I don't totally understand it. But my kids, they know all that stuff. The new generation, they can break all that down. And you be sitting there like, what? Thanks, Giannis. It's a good point. He doesn't even take care of his own kids. So he's out here. See, if Umar wants to make it seem like gay people or lesbians or whatever, that they're all bad in this way because they're helping contribute to population reduction. Okay, well, Umar, what use are you creating babies and you don't even take care of them? See what I'm saying? All right. Thanks, Giannis. Okay, let me see where we at on this video. Okay, we're at the 29-minute mark of this video. Let's try to get to. We'll go to the 40-minute mark and we'll close out with that. Okay, that way I have a good number to kind of close out with. So let's get back to it. Here we go.
A follow-up question about population control, but based on what you just said, do you also believe social media has something to do with it, right? Because when I think about social media and how they've created these addictive devices that young people are so like the even if you're heterosexual, you're the boys are gay men. They want to spend time with the boys now. And then,
what are you talking about? In general, that's how we used to be. The boys hang out with the boys. What are you talking about? We go ride bikes. You know what I'm saying? We used to play video with that. Somehow that means they turn you gay. This guy sound goofy too. He is a comedian phase. Let me stop. What's he talking about? We go play basketball. So if we go play basketball, that means that it's turning us gay. Football? We used to play football on the street. Please pass. you play playing football, turns you gay. That's Umar. This guy said, pass me the ball. Pass me. Hurry up. Just be running around all Sprite and shit. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Who this guy's? What's he talking about? And they playing video games. They be playing that video game to make them gay. Listen, when we used to play video games, we would be talking all kind of shit to each other. Y'all remember that? Man, fuck you. You ain't shit. Look at this. That's what he's talking about, Umar. Up, down, left, right, DA. Y'all remember Contra? Yeah, because in Contra, you could play two people at the same time. Now it's really turning you gay. Man, this guy goofy. Anyway. See? You remember Super Mario Brothers? You see, I was two of them. It was Mario and Luigi. They wasn't getting with the princess. Let me stop. All right. This some goofy.
So like the way social media is addictive is that part of the process as well?
Absolutely. Remember, feminism, which was modern feminism, a creation of the FBI and CIA.
You guys don't do that. You remember Smash Brothers? You remember Smash? They was smashing. They was smashing. You guys need to stop. That's crazy. You remember Bert and Ernie? Well, they didn't have no girlfriend. You see that? All right. That's crazy. Smash Brothers. Oh my God. All right, let's keep going here. Boy, y'all wild.
To get women out the home through the propaganda of equality. Men and women are equal, right? So when I say propaganda of equality,
that sounds like something Umar say. You playing ball with men? You playing ball with men? That's gay, brother. That's gay. That's why they call it a joystick. Okay. All right. All right. Yo, that's wild.
I'm not saying that women are not equal. I'm saying that this was a government strategy to make the women discontent with being mothers.
Someone said Diddy Kong.
Not only so they could tax their income and have
He said Diddy Kong. What in the world is Diddy? That's crazy.
more revenue, but also so
it is. It's out
nobody
of control.
could protect the mind of the child from the government. If you look at
Yeah,
the flow
yeah. I remember Big
of
Bird.
feminism unto the modern working career-based women, it has also coincided with the rise in pathology, suicide, mass shootings, because children are supposed to get a certain amount of nurture. Any living organism, I don't care if we're talking about the puppies or the cats or the giraffe.
What you talking about? This guy, here he go. The black pigs.
Crabs or the birds, they get a certain amount of nurture before they're allowed to go out into the world on their own. Human beings are no longer getting that. African children are no longer getting that. A big reason why the feminist movement was brought to Africa, a big reason why the LGBT movement was brought into Africa, because Africa being the mother of
Umar, you don't even take care of your kids.
all civilizations, it would take the U.S. government and other Caucasian governments more time to convince the African woman.
Yeah, I know. Umar don't know what he's talking about. Well, anyway.
On the continent, that being a mother is an outdated phenomenon. So they had to really put and push money into Africa to break that relationship, that trust and bond that the black man and the black woman had with each other in order for the LGBT, in order for the feminism to get in there. Wow. You see, so the reason why you had a Hillary Clinton, a Barack Obama, a Joe Biden, a Kamala Harris threatening African governments with the cessation of grants and funds and aid.
Hey, don't do that,
normalize homosexuality is not about gay rights. It's about
I don't know what he's talking about.
The minds of the children by getting the mothers out the house.
What you talking about, Umar?
You're taking me so many different places, but I want to talk about black love then, right?
Okay.
Because you know, me as a financial educator,
yeah, heckle and jekyll.
I understand. I've studied wealth. I studied other cultures.
Before you go to black love,
yeah,
and forgive me for jumping in.
For sure, yeah.
But I got that little ADHD thing too.
Yeah,
so when that thought comes, if I don't give it to you, I'm gonna forget it.
I'm telling people.
I'm with you.
Let's go to the Rockefellers.
Here you go. Yeah, see,
the Rockefellers.
So far, this is really centered around conspiracy theories. That's really what this centers around. And he's not off. These days, Umar's not really in that mode. Not to this degree. Every once in a while, he'll flip back. It's like, going back in time. He'll start pulling it out. Heckle and jekyll. Yeah. Thank you to Nimi for the super chat. Where are we at on time on this video? Okay, we're gonna go 8 more minutes. All right, I'm gonna let it play.
Created a General Board of Education. Stay with me. This is an oil family, right?
Yeah.
Why would they create a General Board of Education? And by the way, you do know Spelman College here in Atlanta, that I love and respect, is named after the wife of Rockefeller. It started out as an independent black school, but they came in with their money. And as a, what do you want to say, as a compromise, they gave the school the name of the wife. The Rockefellers spent millions financing HBCUs. They spent millions financing PWIs. They spent millions infiltrating public school boards.
Why you keep yelling?
And infiltrating textbook corporations. Why? Why is an oil company worrying about college? Why is an oil company worrying about the textbooks that public schools use in America? Because if we want to control the economics, if we want to control the wealth, if we want to dominate industry, if we want to practice true capitalism, we cannot teach the children how we did it. Because if we teach the children how we did it, black or white, they can then teach themselves how to undo it.
Why you keep yelling like that? For God?
Economics was intentionally kept out of America's schools, black or white, intentionally kept out.
Hey, why are you doing that?
To make sure the kings of capitalism could never be overthrown.
Wow. And so, and so when I think about, because so this thing is all like so multi-layered, right? Because when you think of black or white, population control, the government, there's a government shutdown happening.
Yes.
And with that government shutdown, SNAP benefits are being withheld. A lot of people believe that it will only affect the black community, but the
more white people
on food stamps. So talk a little bit about that.
This SNAP scam.
Scam. Here
is
you go.
Not simply the result of a stalemate between the Democrats and Republicans in Congress. This is intentional. I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, what do we know about crime? Poverty is the grandmother of all crime.
1,000%, yeah.
Whenever resources are low, crime is up. When resources are plentiful, crime goes down. It is a function of the economy. When they talk about crime in the black community, they never tie it to the economy.
Okay, that's not complete. That's not true, because there are impoverished places around the world, far more third world countries, and they have relatively less crime. I think it has more to do with culture than anything else. But I'm gonna leave it right there. Here we go.
economy. So if poverty is the grandparent of crime, miseducation is the father of crime, and economic castration is the mother, right? So if you're not dealing with poverty, miseducation, and economic opportunity, you're not trying to solve any crime. What Donald Trump is doing, and mind you, he's not working alone because he's an employee. What he's doing is he wants to manipulate economics, opportunities, and resources. He wants to intensify financial desperation. Because if I intensify financial desperation by cutting off the food stamps, knowing that most children are raised by single mothers, those mothers are going to have to do one of three things in order to feed their children during this food stamp scare. They're going to have to go steal food.
Here
if
he
she's
goes.
caught stealing, she goes to jail. While she's in jail, those children get put into the foster care system. She's not able to go to work and pay her bills, so she can't pay the rent or the mortgage. We confiscate the home. Gentrification. Number two,
what?
she doesn't steal, but she takes her rent money, her mortgage, to buy these expensive groceries. Guess what? She defaults on the rent, she defaults on the mortgage, foreclosure or eviction. Gentrification, we take the house. Third, she starts engaging in the illegal economy on the street. Let me sell a little bit of weed where it's not legal. Let me sell a little bit of crack, heroin.
There you go. Because you black women, you ain't got no ethics or nothing. You're going to be selling the cooch too. Might as well.
You see that? Let me hustle some credit cards. She's going to have to do something under the table to make ends meet, to make sure her kids got food on the table. They find out once again.
Okay, well, maybe you deadbeat daddies, maybe you should be helping these feeding these kids. How about that, Umar? That includes you. Won't hear no shit about no conspiracy. You got an excuse for all. Listen, Umar, what you're really seeking to do is to devalue black women in their sense of morality and ethics, and then come up with some sort of an excuse without holding black men accountable who create these babies and don't take care of the babies. That's why you always got to frame shit as a single mother, because that's your main target demographic. And you look at you the baby mama creator. You got at least 3 of them in Philadelphia, and the 4th one try to put you on child support. You're just projecting. Speaking of food stamps, let me show y'all what I mean by this guy such a hypocrite. Watch this.
Solely return, and I come to talk my talk, and there's no greater Garveyite on earth than the Prince. There's no greatest Pan Africanist on earth than the Prince. There's no greatest revolutionary on earth than the Prince. I'm in the building. Atlanta, pull on up. They got the vendors, they got the drummers, they got the music, they got the performers. We celebrating blackness today. We celebrating black excellence, and if we're going to celebrate black excellence, there is no black excellence like the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the only black man. I said the only black man. I said the only black man to build a multi-million member organization without the use of religion. I said the only black man to build a multi-million member organization without playing to the religious and spiritual weaknesses of black people. Garvey built a government, not a damn church. We're going to talk about it today, brothers and sisters. We're going to talk about it today. And tomorrow, Petersburg, Virginia, are you ready? Tomorrow, Petersburg, Virginia, are you ready? I'm pulling up in Petersburg for the first time at 464 Burn Street. I'm pulling up in Petersburg, Virginia tomorrow at 464 Burn Street. That's BYRNE. BYRNE. 464 Burn Street from 4 to 8. Petersburg tomorrow. It's free. Just pull your ass on up. Come and get some consciousness. Come and get your coon chip deactivated. Come and hear from the leading orator, organizer, and institution builder of the 21st century. Look at that skin right there. Look at that melanin pop. Look at that melanin drip. Hashtag melanin drip, brothers and sisters. Hashtag Melanin Drip. This is the Prince of Pan Africanism coming to you live and direct, Atlanta, Georgia. I am in Hotlanta, Georgia. I am here building with my Georgia Africans. Oh yes, Atlanta, Georgia Africans. Oh yes, I want to see everybody today at the Shrine of the Black Madonna, 12 until 6. I take the stage at 3 today. I take the stage at 3 today. I take the stage at 3 today. Come and get a copy of Black Parent Advocate. If you a black parent raising black children and you don't have a copy of my book, you better come get it. If you a black parent raising black children in Atlanta and you ain't got a copy of my book, if you a black parent raising black children in Georgia, Alabama, all throughout the South, South Carolina, you better pull up to the Shrine of the Black Madonna and get a copy of the only book that teaches black parents how to fight back against learning disabilities, fight back against autism, fight back against white teacher racism, fight back against misdiagnosis, fight back against ADHD and conduct disorder. Come and get a copy of the only book that's helping black parents save their children. It's on sale today, Shrine of the Black Madonna. You can use credit card, Cash App, Apple Pay, Zelle, check, cash, however you want to do it. I don't care how you pay. You can use food stamps. I'm taking food stamps today for Black Parent Advocate because it's about revolution, brothers and sisters.
Such a hypocrite. It ain't the only time. Yeah, he want that SNAP money. That's what he want.
Eviction, mortgage, we take the home.
Wow.
This whole SNAP scam is an intensification of gentrification. It's not about them not being able to feed their kids. It's about us being able to take your home away from you after you get caught doing it.
Wow, wow, wow. And so again, continue like down.
Okay, we're gonna go 3 more minutes on this video.
The rabbit hole of how like this is like constructed in
it's a web.
Yeah,
and it's a never-ending web. It continues to grow because one thing that Neely Fuller, who wrote that book, the compensatory code system for victims of white supremacy. Everybody should read it. I haven't read the whole thing, but I have them, right? And one of the things he talks about, one of the stages of white supremacy is refinement. Once we create the system and we master it, we now have to refine it. Refinement means what? It no longer looks like what it looked like. Cell phone gets invented, right? Remember, the first cell phones was large. And every year they get smaller and smaller to the point now they're working on a cell phone that you won't even know it's a cell phone. Refinement. They're refining white supremacy to the point that it doesn't even look like what it
So a self, whatever.
was. And if you refine it well enough, the victims will blame themselves instead of the system for the hell that they get.
And so going back to, you know, like let's say Black love, right? Like I understand, especially when I look at other cultures, wealth, Black love equal Black wealth.
Yes.
I feel like when I
it's a functional and healthy love.
Absolutely. And when I turn on the television, when I look at on the internet, there's a war going on, right? There's a war against Black love. Like, is that part of
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you why. On the road to the elimination of Black people is the bastardization of Black people. I'm not calling our mixed race brothers and sisters bastards. Because as a Pan-Africanist, I accept them. You understand me? I got heroes who are mixed race. I got no issue with mixed race, right? When I speak of bastardization, I'm speaking publicly, politically, from the white man's perspective. Before we can get rid of them, we have to first bastardize them. Here we go again, refinement. Make the American Negro no longer look like the American Negro. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell Snow Bunny love to Black children through the commercials, the sitcoms, the movies. If we sell enough Snow Bunny love to Black children, they'll no longer want a relationship with somebody who looks like them. Now you have this mixed race child. If we sell Snow Bunny love to that second generation mixed race child, that third generation African won't even appear to be African. And psychologically, what are the chances that they will?
You hear this guy talking? They won't even appear to be African.
Want to be associated with anything African.
Wow.
In other words, you can get rid of black people without even getting rid of black people.
Wow. Wow.
Powerful. We're gonna leave right there. That's at the 40-minute and 11-second mark. We'll pick this up tomorrow. We'll do part 2. I actually thought this was like a 40-minute interview. This interview goes for an hour and almost 2 hours. Oh, well, we might have to, I don't know. But we'll do part 2 tomorrow. We'll get through as much as we can. Let me check on this poll, and then we'll get to these final super chats. The poll, we had over 2,566 votes, so that's awesome. Is FDMG coming in 2025? 9% said yes, 91% said no. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close this poll out. Thanks to everyone who voted on that. I appreciate it. In terms of likes, we did fantastic. We got over 1,000 likes during this live stream. I want to thank everyone who hit that like button. Okay, and if you enjoyed the show at any point during this live stream, go on and hit that like button. I know we were goofing off. I was getting caught up in that chat. But once that happens, someone said place. I was thinking about doing it, but I had promised the brother that actually put that together that I wouldn't play it until he got his social media established. I really want to play it. So I'm going to hold because I want to keep my word with the brother. I should probably check in on him and see how he's progressing with that, because he has a full version. He told me that I can use a full version, but I had to go into an agreement with him. But then what I told him was, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop playing the old version or the shorter version, and until you get your he's supposed to set up a website and stuff, because he does fantastic work with the AI. And then I told him I would promote it and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't checked in on him in a while, and I don't want to I gave him my word. But it would have fit perfect because Umar talking about snowboarding. It's probably because he heard the song. Let me do these super chats real quick. Let's see. So I got this, Lene. We will get to that at some point. I have it on my list. Okay, thank you so much. I got that one too. Thank you. Yana says he doesn't even take care of his own kids. Not one time he said anything about raising his own. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I got that one earlier. Thank you so much. Heckle and Jackal. Yep, got that one earlier. Thank you so much, Mini. Nimi. Lene says he says Roths were an oil family. It was a banking dynasty. Pack him up. Yeah, I think what he probably meant to say was because there was the Rockefellers and there was the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds, they did invest in oil, but they weren't known as an oil conglomerate. Whereas the Rockefellers, they were known, if memory serves me correctly, they were known for the oil. But so Umar, either way, he's mixing it up. Okay, he don't know what he's talking about. But the thing is, he doesn't really get into that mode as often as he used to. I have him doing PowerPoint presentations on this type of information. It's like conspiracy theory stuff from like the really early 2000s. Some of that stuff goes back even before that, because there was people I was looking at when I was really into. There was old videos, like really, really old. One guy comes to mind. He wrote this book called "Behold the Pale White Horse." I can't remember his name right now. He was the forerunner even before Alex Jones came out. But I remember I read that book and I watched all of the videos I can find on him. Anyway, Umar just mixing things up. But this used to be his bag. He should do PowerPoint presentations. It wasn't even PowerPoints. It would be those back in the day, those projectors where you had the plastic you would write on there. You have stuff printed on it and you put it on the thing and then it puts it up on the screen. That's old people. You know what I'm talking about. He should do presentations like that back in the day, and he would get into this type of information. I think over the years, he doesn't talk about it as much, so he's mixing stuff up, and he's all over the place. But you're right about this. Thank you, Lene. How you know about that? Huh? Okay. Thanks, Lene. Simply Complicated says Omar was off dodging out HBCUs. Umar should have been debating those MAGA influences, combining for the college kids. The thing is, Umar, he went to all-white universities. That's what I'm saying. A lot of his rhetoric is backwards, because if you look at his life, what he tells black people we should be doing, he's never lived any of that. Black men, you need to be marrying black women. Okay, Umar, you married to a black woman? No. I've even heard Umar say stuff like, black men, we have to be more responsible with our sexual organs or whatever. So in other words, be sexually responsible. Umar, are you? He'll tell black people, we need to support the HBCUs. Well, HBCUs, but Umar, are you supporting? How much money you donate to these HBCUs? How much have you donated to FDMG? But he'll tell black people that they need to be doing these things, but he doesn't do it himself. He'll tell black men that we need to be raising other men's children who are not active in their children's lives. But Umar, you're those other black men who are not active in your children's lives. So we have to make up for the difference. He's a hypocrite. One other thing, Umar doesn't debate white people. Never has. And truth be told, any rational thinking black person who has critical thinking skills and a mind of their own, he ain't gonna debate them either. That's why he goes on these softball interviews, because he knows that they're gonna glaze him up. You simply complicated. You think Umar would ever come onto this platform and debate me on FDMG? That should be a poll question. If I remember, that's gonna be the poll question. Would Umar come onto my YouTube page and do a live debate about FDMG? We ain't gonna talk about nothing else, but just FDMG. He wouldn't do it. I would destroy him. He would get to raging and yelling and curse. He wouldn't be able to handle it. One, I've already done all the research. I have all the receipts. I'll just pull up receipts, and then intellectually speaking, listen, I'm not the brightest bulb in the drawer. You gotta clean out the drunk drawer. That's why I'm saying that. But I perceive Umar to be my intellectual inferior. And the reason why I say this is because if you listen to Umar's rhetoric, there's nothing intelligent about it. He's just like a wordsmith, Oswald Bates. But if you really listen, he ain't even making no sense. He sound crazy, batshit crazy. So the point is, Umar's not going to debate no white people. And truth be told, he ain't going to debate no black person who got some sense. He ain't going to do it. That's why he's very careful these days. He'll go on these platforms that'll glaze him up. They ain't going to ask no critical questions. Now, I don't know if I would think that they're going to get into FDMG at some point in this interview. We'll have to wait and see. But if they do get into FDMG, I want to see whether or not this brother actually asks Umar some serious questions. I highly doubt it. Umar's very careful about that. Right? Thank you, Simply Complicated. Step the Barber says, shout out to all of my Snap Africans. That's crazy. Thank you, Step the Barber. Why you keep changing your name? Lau says, I don't know. He likes your song and at break time. Yeah, but I told the brother that I wouldn't play it until maybe I have to email him again and see. You know what? Let me renege on it. But I gave my words. I can't play it, but it would have been perfect. Thank you. And he's talking about the Snow Bunny love song. Thank you for being a member for 17 moms. Animi says, bro, the griddle tuned at yelling this yelling this late at night. He always yelling, okay, especially at night when he be at these trap families. He yells a lot. Thank you for the super chat. And then Andrea, how's it going? Says Andrea says, rest in peace, Mr. Nelly. I didn't know he passed, Mr. Nelly. No, I knew. No, actually, hold on one second. No, I didn't know that he passed. Did he pass recently? Oh, it was 9 months ago. Yeah, around 9 months ago. It was this year. Yeah, rest in peace. I did not know that. Yeah, rest in peace to Nelly Fuller. So rest in peace, Mr. Nelly Fuller Jr. I see he's stealing information again and distorting Mr. Fuller's words. That's what Umar does. He's a plagiarist. Umar is a distraction and a disgrace. Yeah. Umar has a history of that. I gave examples earlier. I don't know if you were here earlier, Andrea, but I gave examples of this earlier. He's plagiarized Dr. Joanna Kunjufu. He's plagiarized Dr. Amos Wilson. He's seriously plagiarized Dr. Joy DeGruy. He's plagiarized information. That was another person I mentioned earlier. I can't remember who the person. He's plagiarized information from Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Umar, he's a plagiarist. That's what he does. And it goes back a long time ago. If you really think about it, Umar, part of plagiarism is taking other people's work and not crediting them. And then so in essence, you're trying to claim it as your own. But that's no different than what he tried to do to Tariq Nasheed in Hidden Colors. And like I said, I'm not a Tariq Nasheed defender, and I don't follow Tariq. Never watched his. I've never even watched the whole Hidden Colors. Okay, but in terms of my research into Umar and seeing what Umar tried to steal the intellectual property of, that's what he was attempting to do, of Tariq Nasheed. Well, guess what? He tried to do that more recently with Sister Mary Ann Lawrence work. awaken. So Umar has a history of this type of behavior. There was this woman too. I have the video, but I haven't been able to run in back into it. I have it downloaded because I remember when I was putting together my notes and stuff, but I didn't actually archive it properly, but I have the video downloaded. There was a woman many, many years ago, and she had some sort of dealings with Umar. And I think there was some sort of intimate dealings with Umar. And she was talking about how he was perverted and how he's a type of person, he would send people into her space. And then Lene said something similar. And the woman was saying, and this was years later with Lene, but this other video probably goes back to, I would think, maybe 2016, 2017, maybe 2018. And the woman, she started talking about how he's perverted and he's the type of person, he'll put cameras in the bathroom and stuff like that. You know, I said, man. And then she said that Umar stole this project or this idea that she had come up with, and she had shared it with him. And Umar stole it. She was really upset about it, really upset. Now, I never showed that video because I haven't been able to verify any of the information, but I do have it downloaded. And it just goes to show you that there's something there. There's something with Umar wherein he doesn't have original thought. And when he does have something that is somewhat original, it's batshit crazy stuff. You know, we're going to build an observatory on top of a roof of these abandoned buildings. You know, we're going to teach your boys how to fly ships and float ships and fly helicopters. They're going to get the junior pilot license. You know, this time, one time he said he was in communication with the Tuskegee Airmen. I mean, these Tuskegee Airmen are going to be like 80, 90 years old. They're going to be teaching the boys how to fly. What are you talking about? He's a plagiarist, though. When stuff kind of sounds reasonable, he's just taken from other people. He has a history of that type of behavior. And he's definitely a disgrace. I'll tell you that. Thank you, Andrea. Umar has a long history of that. Hans says, why IRS feds haven't taken this scammer down yet? Yeah, I've stated it before, and we almost done. Y'all give me 3 minutes. I'll get these last super chats. I've stated before, if Umar was doing, I believe that if Umar was doing this to another group of people, he would have been locked up a long time ago. The other thing is that the IRS and the feds, they have all kind of other stuff that they're dealing with. And, you know, they don't have the manpower, the woman power to be going after everybody. It's just simply impossible. And in the bigger scheme of things, Umar is really low level. Okay, what he's doing is still wrong. But I mean, there's people out here scamming $100 million, $250 million, $1 billion. So we have to look at it that way too. I would hope that at some point Umar is investigated properly, and that when everything is subpoenaed and all the information comes out and it becomes public record, that will be when people realize how much of a scammer he is. Now, I say that Umar's raised $2.7 million. At this point, because I've been saying that for like a year and a half, it could be closer to $3 million. But the point is that if they really looked into Umar's financials and did some serious, deep research into this guy, who knows? This guy, over the last 15 years, Umar could have raised $4 million. It's possible. He could have raised $3.5 million. It's possible. So it may be way more than what I can prove without a shadow of a doubt from 2019 to 2022 that it's $1.67 million. Could it be 2.5? Yeah. Altogether? Yeah. Could it be 3? Yeah. At some point, I would hope that he's investigated, truly investigated. He says he has, but never provided any paperwork or documentation, so I don't believe him. Okay. Thank you, Hans, for the super chat. Wolves of Black Wall Street says he was going to buy an HBCU, but you trifling black folks wouldn't give him the $2 million he should have had within 6 months of starting a fundraiser. That's what Umar said. I want to pull that video up. And then he called black people. He said, you try, because I think at that point he was like at 200,000, 250,000. He said, you know, I should have been had that money. And then he blamed, he calls his donors trifling ass black people. That's what he said. And he says, I don't care. I'm going to say it like I mean it. I don't care if you get offended. We can handle that outside. That's what Umar said. He has no respect. I'm going to tell y'all something. If people bless you, you should be grateful. Have the spirit of gratitude. That's what I like to say. Have the spirit of gratitude, because the Lord give, Lord take it. And Umar's never had the spirit of gratitude. You rarely hear him thanking his donors. I mean, sincerely thanking them. You don't hear that with Umar. I've heard Umar chastise them, disrespect them over and over again. If people are willing to bless you, then be grateful for it and be thankful. But not Umar. He called y'all trifling for sending him money for nothing. Now, thanks, Will's black. But again, he feels entitled to black people's money. Miranda says, laughed all night. Cooker chats on. I know the chat room was wild tonight, but that's all good. That's what we do. We'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. I'm going to set it up after this live stream. Thank you so much, Miranda. And we'll get more work done on that video, too. We got a lineup of stuff we'll get into over the next couple of weeks. And we're still waiting to see when Umar is going to make an appearance. Okay, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you, Miranda. And then Nimi says, Lenon, ever listen to Art Bell and George Nora? Yeah, on Coast to Coast. Yeah, radio show with big conspiracy theory shows. Yeah, it was on the radio. Yeah, I mean, listen, when I say I went deep, I used to create these documentaries and I just lost my mind in that shit. I really did. I was so out there, but that's what happens. I mean, it's a deep rabbit hole, and I went so deep, I lost myself in that stuff. I to this day, I regret it, but then, that's just life. Some people, they get on crack cocaine. I got on conspiracy theories. All right. But yeah, I remember Art Bell and George Nora. I can't remember which one was first, but then one of the guys left, and then the next, I think it was Art Bell was first, and George Nori came on, and it was just conspiracy. People would call in sometimes, and they would be talking. I mean, I was all into that stuff. Yeah, it'd be on the radio. Thank you, Nimi, for the super chat. Yeah, that brings back memories. Yeah, not all good memories, but it brings back memories. Okay, I hope y'all enjoy. Someone said Art was first. Okay, so Art was first. Okay, yeah. I remember they switched over. I remember because I remember one of them had an Asian wife or something like that. So I could be wrong, but that's such a long time ago. Andrea says, I think Umar is a case study. They're watching him. I mean, it's possible. He's definitely interesting. He's definitely interesting. Last point. I think, and that's why I've said this before. I think that at some point there will be people. I don't know, sociologists maybe, who they'll look back on someone like Umar and do a deep research into him. I mean, I've done a lot of research too, but they would do it from a academic standpoint. There'll be psychologists involved too, just to analyze, because he's an excellent case study, not just Umar and how he became the way that he is and the mental health issues and that kind of thing, but then also the mentality associated with his followers who still believe in this foolishness in 2025. I mean, this could be this could be in 2030, 2035, something like that. That would be fast. Now, I may not even be here by then. I might be dead by then, but the point is that I have a sense that at some point that's going to happen with Umar, and it may take that, the alphabet boys come in, he gets hemmed up. And then, because that's normally what happens, it's after the fact, then they start doing documentaries. I've done one, I'm working on a second one that's taking forever. But I'm talking about like, Netflix or Hulu. It's after these people are really hemmed up and all the receipts are out. Then they start to strategize to put together a documentary. I can see this taking place with Umar. Okay, I can definitely see it. And it would be fascinating. They probably have my old ass up on there too. Get up there looking all old. Well, you used to talk about, he was a scammer. He's always talking about cookies. Well, what's cookies? Cookies is a euphemism for vagina. we all old. Okay, thank you, Andrea. Shout out to Ad Avis too, by the way. Ad Avis. Okay. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. Thanks to everyone who sent their super chats. I hope I didn't miss any because there was a gang of them. It means a whole bunch where I come from. Thanks to everyone who hit that like button too, and before you head out the building, go on and hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Tomorrow we're going to continue with this, but I'm going to pull up a video and I actually have a guest that's going to come on briefly to talk about it of most recent video footage of these trap battles in Wilmington, Delaware. So y'all can look forward to that tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys so much. Also, thanks to all the mods for handling business this evening. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and thanks to everyone inside the Cook Chat. Cook Chat's undefeated, and as we always do, family.
Wilmington, Delaware, appreciate the love. I'm hoping we can stop littering on the campus grounds. Too much litter on the campus grounds. I'm not feeling that. Please put the trash in the trash can, not on the street. I done picked up, somebody shitted. I don't know if that was human shit or dog shit, but somebody shitted on my school steps. I don't know why you would shit on my steps or let your dog shit on my steps. So please, 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 no more shitting on my steps, all right? Woo, we got the doggy out here. This dog keep on pissing on my damn yard. Who dog is this?
Whose dog is this?
Whose dog is this? See, you look like he gonna try to start shitting again. Yo, you. Hey, stop
Umar,
shitting in the
funny.
yard, family, okay? I done found condoms, alcohol bottles all over the place. This is not the drink spot. We gotta do something about this dog. Well, he done already shit it, so I think he done for the night. He might be fasting too. Shit, I don't know.
Speaking of farming, I need some black farmers to get at me. You must know your trade, because I'm looking at farmland in Delaware. We need an acre or two for our school farm. We need an acre or two for our school farm. We're going to have crops and animals, cows, horses, chickens, turkeys. We might even do some pigs, black pigs, black pigs. We're going to have black pigs. We're going to have a farm, crops and animals. I will be going through the resumes. I will be going through the resumes to see if we got any black farmers. But if you are a black farmer, just text me. Dr. Umar, I'm a farmer and I'm in DC. I'm in Virginia. I'm in Michigan. I'm in Pennsylvania. I can come help you anytime, brother. I'm a retired farmer. I love to help you set up your farm. Aquaponics. Oh, we about to take it over. Crops and animals. Cows, horses, chickens, turkeys. We might even do some pigs, black pigs, black pigs, black pigs. The black mice come in and we go squealing around the floor. Squeal, 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 squeal. Cows, horses, chickens. The loosey goosey.
Who are tripping? Who are you tripping?
The loosey goosey. You.
Oh my God, this guy.
I'm gonna go to the pet store and I'm gonna get about 50 baby mice. And the minute one of you Negroes starts squealing about election day, I'm gonna throw a mice on your ass.
Oh, mice.
Memphis, Tennessee, October 5th. Memphis, Tennessee, October 5th. So we got back-to-back Memphis. Back-to-back Memphis.
Yeah, this is so sad. This is one of the saddest moments in this whole Umar saga. It's faded. Just say no, youngsters.
Black pigs.
All right, thank y'all so much. This was an awesome launch. We had such a wonderful time. Lots of laughter and joy. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning on. And also, thanks everyone again for the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Super chats undefeated.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG it's coming. It's coming.
He does look like a thunder cat.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's a little sad.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. Thought his personality be twerking. It's twerking.
Singer Stappies. Yeah, that clip was, well, I tell you. Yeah, the Cooker Tap was on fire tonight. But that's what it's all about. Okay, I just come up here and run my mouth a little bit and then let Umar run his mouth. But here's about the Cooker Tap. All right, thank y'all so much for tuning on in. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. I appreciate y'all. I mean that sincerely. I love y'all. All right, take care. Peace.